All right, journaling. How can we create millions in journaling? Let's get a little bit crazy. So, can a journal lead you to maximum happiness? I actually believe it can a little bit, and here's why. I've been studying happiness for a while because I was really unhappy for many years, and Jim Rohn introduced the idea to me that Jim Rohn introduced the idea to me that you could make happiness a study. So here's what I found out so far. Science says that you are happy to the degree that you feel agency over your life. This is basically kind of a word for like to the extent that you feel control in your life, to the extent that you feel like you are not forced to do things. To the extent that you feel a sense of control that you make things happen, meaning this whole idea of victim, to the degree that the victim story is wiped out and it's replaced with agency, with control, with non-force, with choice, with options, to the degree that you feel that, you experience happiness in your life. Raise your hand if you get what I'm saying. That's what we're talking about. So if here's the tricky thing with a journal. With a journal, as you jot down what you want, right? And you just say, like, I really want whatever kind of BMW. And then you realize that it turns into, and you're sitting in that BMW. They claim that to the degree that you feel that you get to create your life, you're happy. The other thing, so I think a journal is like a super medium for that. The other thing is science says that we're happy to the degree that we feel mastery of certain crafts and subjects. So if the goal is to like rank up in your business or rank up in your income and you write it down, so just follow this deal. You write down the goal of whatever it is. For me, it was $500,000 a year. I thought that was the mega goal of all times, 500K a year. And I wrote it in my journal. I'd look at it all the time and I hit it. And when I did, I felt like I had mastery and I felt like I had agency because it required mastery of my craft to get to 500K. I wrote it down. So pretty soon, all this stuff started happening for me, and truly my happiness did start jacking up. Now, science also says that we're happy to the degree that we feel meaning in our lives. Now, for most people, a journal is a really safe place to vision out what you want, what your why is, yada, yada, yada. In fact, raise your hand if you journal right now. If you're like actively journaling, if you have a journal, that kind of thing. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Good percentage. All right, we're getting to the good stuff here in a second. Here's one other thing about journaling. For me, it's a super ancient practice. In Proverbs 10:14, some of you guys know my story with the Solomon deal, is when I was about 27, I started my business and I had no real mentors. I didn't have real connections. And all I knew is that in the book of Proverbs, the richest man who ever, lived wrote down a bunch of his stuff. So what I did was I would read the proverb and I would meditate, close my eyes, and in a movie theater in my mind, imagine what would this look like completely if it manifested perfectly in my body, in my life, in my sight, on my ears. How would this look, this verse? And I would do it to all the verses. So I've read that book of Proverbs over 1,000 times. And so when I came about this one, a wise person stores up knowledge, stores it up, but the mouth of fools is near destruction. What I did with that one is I flipped it. So if the mouth of fools is near destruction, the mouth of the wise, through storing up knowledge, what's the opposite of destruction? Building, right? Manifesting, creating, growing. And so I literally would close my eyes and I would imagine myself storing up knowledge, and that would come through ordering books. So I ordered a bunch of books, ordering audio programs. Just this last week, I have ordered Nightingale Conant programs. I've ordered about 5 different books. My wife has bought about 5 different books. In the last 7 frickin' days, my friends, I became obsessed. What would it look like? What would a wise person look like? And I thought to myself, it would be a storing up of knowledge. So I was purchasing, I was going to conferences, I was doing everything to store up, store up, store up. But then I also thought, I'm going to record and I'm going to save the choicest things of what I'm learning inside this journal. And what happened is bit by bit by bit, I started journaling, and my gosh, here's what happened. My life, which was literally kind of like, I'm not saying it was destruction, but it was really, really hard. It was so hard, and I fell in love with this process of storing up the knowledge that I was learning inside a journal. And the next thing you know, my life literally, homes were getting built, new cars were showing up, my bank account was being built, my children were growing up and they were getting built. It wasn't just like in the early days of the kids, this is just a little sidebar. In the early days of the kids, the most I could offer them in terms of building was, love, and that's great, and affection and hugs and kisses and stuff. And all those things are great. But here's what's crazy when you really are able to build into your kids. You get to take them to the jungles of Hawaii. You get to have Juilliard trained classical musicians train your children in instruments. You get to have private tutors that give them such an unfair advantage over the rest of the kids. When my boy was finished first grade, he got back his national testing and he tested out at PHS and all these other things. He was like eighth grade math and all these things. I was like, what the heck? What's PHS? Post high school. He tested at reading as a college kid, college level reading in first grade. Here's why. I hired a professional teacher privately to tutor him. He got 2 to 3 hours a day as a 4 and 5-year-old of private tutoring. It was ridiculous. So here's my point though. I fell in love with this idea and I literally sat and watched myself becoming wise. I felt wise. I let the feelings of wisdom hit me. I let the feelings of when you walk into a room and people look at you and they just think, there is a wise person. There is a wise lady. I let this all simmer in, but the real thing with the storing up knowledge ended up being a journal. Raise your hand if you're getting some value out of this so far. We're going to go into some tactical things in a minute, but I want to go in a little bit to the why, and it's just so powerful. This stuff changed my life in such a radical way that I can barely, I'm attempting to describe it right now. But the other thing is, we're going to get to the $1 million idea. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's another ancient thing in Habakkuk. I'm sure all of you are reading Habakkuk all the time. But it says, write down the vision. Okay, so this was to a prophet who got a heavenly vision, right? And it was, you are to write the vision down, make it clear upon the tablet, so he who reads it can run with it. Now, here's what's really crazy as a leader, and in this industry, the higher your leadership level goes, and I don't mean like in your company, I mean internally, the higher you are a leader, leader money is ridiculous. Leader money is leveraged money. Leader money is, you want to talk about feeling agency over your life? Wait till you start feeling agency over hundreds and thousands of people's lives. Raise your hand if that's kind of an interesting concept. So not only this whole happiness thing where you have agency in your own self, you realize as you become a leader, you are really having profound influence on hundreds of thousands of people in time. And this is extremely gratifying in terms of meaning. It's incredibly meaningful. It's incredibly powerful. It just makes life so much more interesting because it's almost like you get to multiply by the degree of people that you get to influence. Your network grows. Everything goes crazy. But here's what's wild about journaling in particular. And this is the deep thing. This is the very deep thing that I just want to open. I want to plant a potential seed here. And I don't want anybody to become crazy out of this, but I want you to get the idea. In Habakkuk here, write down the vision. This was, again, this is the idea that God provided a vision. Something special. Something that deserved to be written down, not just for you, but actually for others. And that you achieving and you going for your vision, okay? Now, I believe that at some level, God actually does whisper thoughts, and there's thoughts in the air, there's visions, there's big things that are right in front of us, that are given to us, that are inspired. They're literally, I do believe in inspired thoughts, thoughts that are generated from outside of ourself, and they come to us and we receive them. Here's the crazy thing. When you write them clearly down, you can run with it and you can manifest that thought in your own life. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a leader, well, you know what? Raise your hand if you're interested in the leadership conversation. If you're interested in really taking your game to the next level in terms of leadership. Well, here's the thing. What leadership is in a nutshell is, here's the promised land. Here's where we are as people. And you know what? I'm pointing my finger at it. I'm looking at this vision as the leader of what this looks like all the time. I'm actively walking towards it myself, and I'm a few steps ahead of everybody else, but I am looking keenly, and I'm painting, and I'm telling people what it looks like and how to navigate the path to get there. And so what gets a little crazy about the deal is painting it for your people and stepping out for people and painting that vision. So when I got started very practically with my journal, I opened it up and I just said, you know what? I was just going to drop an F-bomb. F-bomb this. What do I want? Because one of the most powerful things in your life is when somebody says, why do you do that? Why did you do that? Why do you have that? Why did you do that? Where did you go? Why? You can almost always respond, because I wanted to. And feel so powerful. Raise your hand if that's a powerful thought. When somebody asks you why this, why'd you do that, why'd you move there, why'd you do that, why'd you go there, why are you doing this, everything you can say, because I wanted to. And you have the freedom, you have all that to do that. But here's my point when it comes to the journaling. I opened up my journal, and in those days it was just scratch paper and chicken, it was just whatever I found, back and napkin stuff. And I said, what do I really want? I said, here's what I really want. I want to go skiing in Montana with my family in March. I want to be able to make it to my high school graduation, or my high school reunion this summer. I wasn't living in North Dakota at the time. I want to be able to go there. I want to be able to see the ocean, and this was all in like 4 months. And I sent out to my email list, and this was right at the start when I barely had any email list to speak of. We're talking like 20, 30 people. And I said, here's the thing, gang. I'm learning about automated income. I'm learning about leveraging technology. And I just wrote an email. And I said, and for the first time in my life, I am writing down everything I want. And just in the next 4 months, here's my plans. I plan on being able to make it to the mountains. I plan on being able to make it to the ocean. I plan on being able to make it. I wasn't even there. It was a vision for me. It was a pure vision for me, and I communicated my vision to other people. And, here we are a few years later, and I probably am responsible for hundreds, if not thousands of people getting their families to the ocean, getting their families to the mountains, being able to quit their jobs. Raise your hand if you just get how crazy this stuff is. I mean, it's super crazy. And it's really powerful. So let me go to the next little bit. So here's the deal. How do we take a thought and turn it into a reality? Work is the medium of creating your own personal miracle. This is a powerful little concept. Almost every bit of miracle, personal miracle in between where you are and what you want, work is the medium. But here's the crazy thing. How do we work a thought and turn it into a reality? A lot of us think that the work is in the actual sending of the email, like the technical thing of sending the email or hosting the webinar. And we get caught up in thinking that this is the actual work. But the deep work is opening up space for the right thought and nurturing that thought. When we collect the thought at a vision level. Now this is a little, out there, but I want you to work with me. And when I mean a vision level, I mean something that's so big that it would require God's assistance for you to achieve it. You would have to have a personal miracle for what you think is in your ear, what you're feeling whispered into your ear of what you should become, what you may become, what you could become, what your potentials are. When you get just rub up and you just kind of catch the drift of what you think you could become, there's a vision for the things that you could have, for the person that you could be, for the relationships that you could have, for the influence that you could have, for the productivity, the books that you could write, the influences, the institutions you could start, all this stuff. When you get encountered with that vision, the real work is actually capturing it in detail and starting to nurture and work and craft the thought, and then all of a sudden, zipping out emails is so damn easy, it's a joke. Making a video becomes a joke. Working 12 hours a day becomes a joke. Everything becomes a joke because you're working on vision. Raise your hand if you feel me on this a little bit. I mean, this is like everybody thinks that work becomes a play, it becomes a sport. It becomes laughable, it becomes interesting because you're flowing on vision. You're flowing in the sense of becoming literally prolific. And how this whole moment happened for me right now is, let me just share this in a super, nah, who cares? My wife started journaling and she's like, when I journal, I feel alive, I feel great, I feel powerful, whatever she journaled. And she did a picture of our journal. And then I thought, and then people were commenting on it, and a couple were like, yeah, me too. And where do I get that journal? I thought, you know what? Boom. I want to share because I have a vision for how journaling has changed my life. I want to share with people how to journal. And literally within, I don't know, within like 25 minutes, I had a webinar link out there. Boom, we're at 400, 500 people registered. I mean, it gets madness because, but there's no work involved because I'm working on the vision of who I believe I'm supposed to be for other people. That's my personal vision. Okay, so how do we turn a thought and craft it into a reality? If there's any, before I go into this technical stuff too much, I want to really make sure that the whole idea, and I didn't even expect this whole idea, but you're here, and the idea of collecting a vision, like that Habakkuk thing, where it's so big, it's so you, it fits you, it's ergonomically set to who you are. That vision of whether it's you're on stage and there's 5,000 people and you give that, you drop some bombs and it changes their life, whatever that is, whether it's a great invention that you have, but whatever that vision is, it's at that moment of catching, capturing, and nurturing that vision. That's when the magic happens. That's the real work. And because we can't see it, we don't pay attention to it. And instead, we skip the most important part and we start thinking, how do I write Facebook ads? How do I make YouTube videos? Raise your hand if you got that thing. That's the deal. So if I can do anything tonight to make this as powerful for you as I can humanly do it in my power, I want you to sit in this place of receiving, of searching your own heart, storing up knowledge, asking yourself and feeling into what your personal vision is, what your personal why is, what really excites you. There's certain things in our life that can pay a lot of money, but they're unable to excite us. It can't excite us. In my world, I get offered all sorts of partnerships and business things all the time. A lot of it is easy money. It's almost just show up, give us a little of this, and money will show up. It's unable to excite me because it's not in line. A lot of it is not in line with the vision of who I want to be. So my point is to simmer in this area of receiving ideas, receiving thoughts, bouncing them out, but storing them up and collecting them. If there was any, big takeaway, it's merging these two ancient pieces of text and think about it. Store up the knowledge, which means you've got to be buying so many books. You should be buying books like they're going out of style. You should be buying marketing courses like they're going out of style. You should be buying Nightingale and Conant courses like they're going out of style. I never get sick of these courses, and to no surprise, I'm very prolific in creating information because I consume so much information. So if you have any interest at all in being an info marketer, in fact, raise your hand if you plan on being an info marketer, you want to be an info marketer, info marketing is interesting to you, this, that, and the other thing. Well, hey, information is your craft. That is to become your lifeblood, literally. So it's the whole idea of storing up knowledge, capturing it, and then writing down the vision, like the heavenly vision, the inspired vision. Make it clear for yourself so that other people could read it and be inspired by it, because you're not here just for your own fulfillment. I thought I was for a little while, actually. I thought the whole goal for me, this is crazy just on a personal level, in my whole wealth story, I was so down for so long, where literally this morning I filled up my Cadillac Escalade with a tank of gas, and I rejoiced in doing it because for 5 solid years, solid, my tank on E and F, I would put $3 to $4 in the gas can at a time because that's all I could afford. I could never get that tank to F. This is just gas because I only had so much money, and we had to get milk for the kids, and we had to, oh my gosh. I lived in this empty for so long, and I was so down. So today when I fill up my, to this day, filling up my gas tank is still exciting. So I have not gotten bored with seeing my gas on F. I feel like I'm the richest man in the history of creation because I have a full tank of gas. So here's a powerful thing. No matter where you are right now, you maybe were or are at a lower position than I was, mobile home, qualifying for food stamps, having my car on empty at all times, no food in the fridge, just a little bit of beer that I'd medicate myself with and pass out with at night. I don't know, maybe you're lower than that. But the cool thing is, if you believe that you're in a story and it has a really happy ending on this side of Earth, like in real life, it really does have a happy ending. Your joys, your future joys, are going to be so intense because of your current struggles. Okay, raise your hand if you follow me on that thing. It's really important. It's really powerful. You grasp what I'm saying on that deal, because it's just, that's how it is. The depth of your pains right now, your pleasures are, pain and pleasure are usually on the same nerve. Pain and passion is on the same nerve. So you've got a lot of potential going for you. But here's my point. I thought, back to that he who can read it can run. I really thought that my only reason for getting into the business, and it really was that I thought, you know what, I'll get my gas tank to F, I'll be full, I'll get myself out of debt. And there came a point, this was crazy, where I started taking like 3 weeks off at a time, and I do it over and over. 1 year, a couple of years ago, I took 17 weeks off, doing absolutely nothing, just as an experiment to see if it would affect my income, and it didn't. And it was just crazy. So after this last launch, we did, what did we do? We did 3.2 million bucks or something like that. I thought to myself, I think I could, if I wanted to, just we could get a small little home in North Dakota, downsize our lifestyle, but I'm not sure I need to work in it. I mean, I could maybe retire if I wanted to in a year or two, get my stuff in order, make a little bit more money, and cash out. And what was crazy was I realized that I would be so bored after like 2 weeks that it's not even funny. So but deeper than that, I realized that I'm actually existing and I'm happiest to give my life in my own development, because I think that that's an act of worship for me, is to develop my own potential. But also, it's just, I love what we're doing for this period of time in my life. I love what I'm doing. I'm meant to do it, and I'm meant to do it for other people. And so with the journal thing, we'll do some tactical stuff here short in a minute. But I really want you to think about, Am I describing this whole catching the vision for your life a really big one that's a little bit scary, but one that you can't shut off? It shows up and then you silence it. You haven't captured it yet, but it's at that moment of catching that vision for who you are to become and capturing it and nurturing that thought, meditating on it, thinking on it, that work actually becomes less an act of willpower, and it's something that's exciting because it's the medium for your personal miracle at the end of the day. It's freaking crazy. All right, so here's the crazy thing. At the end of the day, what I believe for $1 million ideas regarding journaling is that you have to actually make room for $1 million idea to come. And what I think goes on is there's like 3 stages in a person's life, and procrastination is the stage where we just don't do what we know we should do. Everybody has little bits of that. Some people are more prone to it than others, but raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about with procrastination. You know exactly what you should do, and you just don't do it. It just doesn't get done. Period. Okay, so that's like phase one. That's probably in a survivalistic. If this is you, and here's the crazy thing: if you don't believe this, let me mind bomb your thoughts about money right now. If I'm describing you right now, saying you have ideas and you just don't do them, you almost feel like you can't do them. You feel like you're waiting on inspiration, or you're waiting on another piece of knowledge, or you're waiting for something. I can almost promise you that your bank account, as a result of this, you're in a survival kind of situation. You're probably in an almost kind of hoarding thing over your money, where you're really tight with it. You grip it tight. You think about lack, you think about less, you're worried. That's the results of a procrastination life, and it's horrible. Emotionally, it's numbing. It's, oh my gosh, it's just, I've been there, so I can. It's like a Alcoholics Anonymous. I can detect a procrastinator because I was one for so dang long, and it's something I actively get myself out of only through inspiration. But anyway, this is probably a survival mode. But here's what's crazy. When you go from procrastination to productivity, this is when you actually start doing everything you know you should do. Now, the moment you hit into productivity and you start doing the things you know you should do, 6 figures in this industry, and I don't care if you're listening to me, you're probably some kind of online marketing, you probably have an affiliate offer, an MLM company, your own info business, something. 6 figures online with the viral coefficient nature of what we do, and how things spread, and how cheap our products are to create monetarily. Getting to 6 figures is almost natural for somebody who's just plain old productive. This doesn't even mean smart. This doesn't even mean like gifted. This doesn't mean anything. This just means, you know what? You're just doing the things you should do. You buy a stupid Facebook training on how to do an ad. You know you should watch it. You watch it. You know you should place an ad. You place an ad. All of a sudden, leads start showing up, and then they buy your crap, and then you're 6 figures. Raise your hand if you're feeling me on this. And you know what I would love to? I would actually love to hear from somebody who knows that's the case. Like, you don't need to be extremely. I want to bond with you guys a little better, so I'm bringing my face into this thing a little bit. But it's so easy to go to 6 figures. If anybody's out there, okay, so I've lowered all the hands. If you earn 6 figures and you kind of agree with what I'm saying here, that just doing the things you know you should do, you buy the training, you do the training, you place the ad, you collect the lead, you host the webinar, you ask for the sale, you get the sale. If it's almost like this is not hard, if you know what I'm saying, just simple productivity, not genius level stuff, simple level productivity will get you to 6 figures. But here's what's crazy. When things go nuts is when you go from productivity to prolific. And prolific is, this is a decent example of prolific. I see an idea from my wife about journaling. I create the webinar immediately. I get it viral. I bring here we are. Like the idea, I'm a medium for ideas now. But when you're just productive, you've got to get way ahead of productivity, so you're creating an environment where you can receive literally $1 million thoughts. And $1 million thoughts are hard to get when you're sitting in a state of undone things. Because what happens is your mind, it's like triage almost. Your mind in the hospital is trying to deal with undone. The psychic energy and the psychic spend is trying to metabolize these dang undone tasks, and it's grading, and all the resources of your mind that are supposed to be going out there to get ideas and receive ideas are inwardly eating, grinding away at undone projects. Raise your hand if that makes sense. That is what happens with probably 99% of people. They're living in that, where their mind is sitting there churning, trying to just deal with undone projects. And the longer they stay undone, the more mental psychic energy they eat. And pretty soon our receivers get shut off. So what I would say is, with a journal, what I want to encourage you to do with your journal, and this is just the challenge. I'm going into it more on another webinar. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about this. I want you to create a space of maybe 30 minutes, and you'll be surprised. And I want you to even walk around your house with your journal in your hand. I want you to go into your email. I want you to do everything with your journal in your hand. And literally, I want you to write everything you feel you should have done. Everything. I'm talking everything. On my Be Prolific webinar I'm hosting on Tuesday, I'm going to jog through what everything looks like. But let me give you some nagging ones, like, do you have your will done? Do you have your will completed? See, I don't. This is good. I'm going to actually go through this activity myself on the Be Prolific deal. Do you have a will completed? Have you not called your mom back? What is eating up the crap in your head? I'm actually going to walk through, everybody on the Be Prolific webinar, I'm going to walk through the full, how do you purge out everything you have to do? Every to-do list, every single thing. This means when you walk by that closet and that stupid light has been out for 3 months and you just haven't changed it, you go get the light bulb. You get the night light. You get the blanket. The thing that's been bothering you, it's on the top of your mind all the time. I want you to literally write down everything you feel you should be doing. Everything that you should have done. Every single thing. I'm not kidding. I want you to sit down, and it won't even take you 30 minutes. Write down this massive to-do list. Massive to-do list. It's huge. It's huge, my friends. Make it as big as you possibly can. Put check marks next to it. And then, here's the miracle question that I used to ask myself when I would make my to-do list, and it was pretty big. I would say, and ask yourself this question. I want you to play this game one day, just one day. If someone were to give me $1 million cash, if by the end of, if before I went to sleep, my to-do list was completed. Here's the thing. If you do this 1 or 2 days and you take it seriously and you trick your mind saying, you know what, I have this massive to-do list, and you chunk out an unreasonably large amount of it, and you say, Tuesday morning when I wake up, I'm going to play this little trick on myself where I'm going to, if I get everything done, I'm going to pretend that someone gives me $1 million cash. $1 million. And if you're good enough at playing that game with yourself, you will be so astonished at what you get completed. And you also will realize that you've been BSing yourself, that you really don't have time, that you really can't do it, that you're not ready to do it, this and that and the other thing. Because here's what's crazy. I started doing this, literally, this was the fuel. This is how I got so much done. I said, I'm going to just pretend that I'm going to be given $1 million at the end of the day if I finish everything. And I did that so often, I actually conditioned myself to make $1 million in a day, and I did it in one damn day. You want to talk about crazy ritual? That's a ritual that's worthy. You magnetize your mind for $1 million. You do it and you work with $1 million in the back of your mind. You do that enough times. It doesn't have to be every day. You can't psychically do it every day. You can do it 1 or 2 days a week at best. Because sometimes there were all-nighters. I was pulling all-nighters. I wasn't in bed. I didn't sleep. I worked literally through the entire night because I had to finish my to-do list for the artificial pretend $1 million day that I was going to receive if I completed everything. But what happened was millions, and then the next million, and then the next million, and the next million, and the next million, and literally we generated $1 million in a day. Do you see how powerful this stuff is? Raise your hand if you've gotten some value out of this concept. It's so crazy. It's so powerful. It's so revolutionary that I'm going to share a lot more about the journal stuff on the Be Prolific webinar, which I want to invite you to attend. But for a takeaway tonight, the big takeaway, and then I'm going to go in, we'll be officially done, but I want to talk about the Be Prolific, because in prolific, when you get to be prolific, then you start receiving killer ideas. And why? You can receive them and your productivity can shoulder them and they can get disseminated quickly. So like with the futuristic marketing launch, it was a prolific idea to have the alliance deals. Well, I had everything done in my life. Every single thing was done. My mind was a blue ocean of ideas. And I thought, what is the industry? What's going to just cause the industry to go crazy? And I thought these alliance games, that's going to be pretty radical. But in a state of prolific is where you can make just incredible amounts of influence and service to other people. But here's what I would say. I would say get really, like I said on this deal, become a knowledge hound. Don't ever for 1 second. I'll tell you one of the biggest. Oh, this is one of the worst ideas in the history of the world. You bought a book. Well, you didn't fully read the book, and you want another book. And you associate guilt with that feeling. You associate guilt going, oh man, I just bought that book, that other book. I should read that book and I should be a good steward over myself and I should fully digest that book and then I deserve another book. Well, it's all in your belief about books. You want to know, raise your hand if you want to know my belief about books. This is a very powerful belief about books. My belief about books is that they're just little meals and I don't eat the bones of every meal. I don't eat the skin of every meal. I don't eat the bread on all the sandwiches. If I have a book and I look at it and I go, I want to eat something out of there. I take the book and I have literally read a chapter or two and thrown the book in the garbage because I'm like, this guy's off. This is stupid. Then again, I have other books I go back into over and over and over. I don't know if I've ever read a book straight through from page one to page the end. I don't think I've ever done it. I've dipped around, I've slopped around. I should really do a super reading training on how to speed read and speed scan books and stuff. Because I look at books as like I need a little shot of energy and I'm going to this book for inspiration. Before I would make dials on my leads in the old days, I would burn through Think and Grow Rich. I had Think and Grow Rich, I had Tony Robbins' book, I had the 4 Hour Work Week, and I would just plow through these books over and over and over. I'd just speed through them and then I'd get so revved up and then I'd make my calls. But here's the thing. Books, just buy those dang things. Anything that scratches you, that you have an itch, you should scratch it if it's a knowledge thing. It's one of the best investments ever. And then you take your journal and you keep record of what's motivating you. Why did you buy the book? Why did you buy it? Why is it curious to you? Get in touch with that. And then I would spend some time really asking, if you believe in God, asking God to give you a bigger vision for yourself. If you're not into that, just say, as a creature, what am I capable of? And get in touch of what a big vision for your life is. Very big. Write it in your journal. So record knowledge in your journal, write the visions in your journal, and then I want to encourage you to make a list of every single thing you have not done. Everything. Go around the house. If the clock, the grandfather clock doesn't have a battery in it, and it's been off time, and it's sitting there in the corner of your living room off, and it represents just undoneness to you every time you look at it, but you've never dealt with it. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, those kind of things. Where you walk by it and you just, oh, yeah, I should have done that. And it's sitting there eating your brain. I remember one of the greatest moments of my entire life was walking around my property and saying to myself, every single thing is done. I don't know, there is nothing left to do. Everything is done. Everything. And I just sat there and I walked around. I said, oh my gosh, everything is done. And here's what's really powerful is, you can have like help. You can hire cleaners, right? So we had 3 people come in and scrub our house. Our house is pretty dang clean. You can have people cook for you. You can open up so much time freedom that you can become absolutely prolific. You can become wealthy beyond what you ever imagined possible. But when you write every single thing down, then you can recruit people and resources. And again, and prolific, I'm going to invite you to get on the prolific webinar in a minute. But write every single thing down, and then you can actually batch out how to get that stuff done so you can accomplish a lot more. It's not just all on you. In fact, some of you just thought when I said that, some of you felt a weight that all you're going to do is work, work, work. Everything's on your shoulders, and it was a stressful thing. When I think of my to-do list now, it's pretty much, and Demir, you're on here, he's my tech lord, it's pretty much like, how do I get all my people, all my affiliates? How do I tap into all the resources that I have? My list, my people, my affiliates, my tech lord, my staff. How do I get everybody absolutely cranking? Who can I hire in to do anything that I shouldn't be doing so I can just stay perfectly in my genius? Because that's what my vision is calling for. So there's a lot more to this equation, but here's the gist of it. If you at just a base level made a to-do list for business wise and family and said, I'm going to pretend, just try it one day, I'm going to pretend that if I get this list done, I'm, chart out an unreasonably big amount of it in a day, someone would give me $1 million cash. Raise your hand if you think your productivity would soar that day, possibly to the point where you would make more progress in a day than you've made in the last month. And I'm not kidding you. When you tap into your productivity and you tap into that kind of concept and you start planning that $1 million gravitational pull in your mind, the level that you'll achieve at will be so startling. And the other thing is you will accomplish so much that you will be able to fully engage and you will be able to fully disengage because you have no guilt over stuff that's not done. None. None whatsoever. All right. Layla's on here. Hey Layla, will you shout out and tell us about your journal experience? Layla, blink your hand if you'll do that for us. I know you've been journaling lately and you've been pumped. Blink it if you're up for it. If you're not, I'm over it. Okay. Here we go. Layla Black, are you out there?
What's up? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Layla, I love you. I know you shared with some of your people to be here, and I know you've been journaling a little bit crazy, and you guys have been earning a bunch of money and building brand and love with your teams, and I love you and Toby so much it makes me sick. But when I saw that you were going to be on here, I saw you were journaling, I just kind of got the vibe that you were in that zone. Can you give us can I interview you for 2 minutes right now?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, why did you are you journaling right now? Is that true?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
It was part of my January to-do list, my resolutions. I wanted to document it, and it's been a really cool process because I've actually gone back to things that I had wished that I journaled about,
Mm.
and because I just started recently, it's just been so incredible to relive those moments again and to reread them over and over and over again.
So do
Uh,
you so do
it's
you
really cool.
do you do a little bit of like diary in there where you're like hashing out the memories of the day and reliving them, or is most of your stuff future based, or is most of it a to-do list? I mean, how do you
Oh man, it's so it's all of the above, really, because I do like to future pace myself and put myself in that zone of 10 years from now. What will I have created? What
Mm-hmm.
legacy will I have left? But then the to-do list, I have never looked at it like that though. The $1 million day thing, I am so all over that
Oh,
because
it's
I
it.
am thinking about a light right now upstairs in my bathroom that I've been looking at every morning when I go into the bathroom. And Toby and I are so bad for that. People will come to our house
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Okay, you guys make all this money and you're out of toilet paper. Like, we're like, well, there's paper towel there."
Well, here's what would
So
be really,
I know exactly. I have this crazy to-do list for
yeah,
business, but there's these little things in my mind that
yeah.
I know I got to get done too. So
Yeah, and here's a
it's
super powerful idea, everybody, on that is what, and I share this story once in a while, but Shani would occasionally give me a honeydew list. Now, I'm not really a handy guy, but like
neither
fix
is
fix
Toby.
the drapes or something. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, really? I don't even know for do anything mechanical. It's just a wash. It's a total loss, right?" So, one day I thought to myself, "You know what? Honey, you make me the most exhaustive honeydew list you've ever seen. Make it crazy. Whatever you want. Whatever. You want the garage ceiling swept? I don't care. Let me know." And then I called my buddy and I said, "This is this to-do list. I'll give you 15 bucks an hour." He was like 20 years old. "I'll give you 15 bucks an hour. You can work for 10 hours straight." I wiped out like a year of honeydew bowl in one day. So there's probably somebody in your life or community that 15, 20 bucks would be a blessing to them an hour. And just say, "You know what? Here's the thing. Yeah, it's annoying. You got to do the little light thing and you got to run to Lowe's and you got to do this and you got to do that. And it's annoying as hell and true, but go for it." And then you can stay in your genius. See, the reason you guys are doing so well is you're not dwelling on that stupid stuff. But at the same time, like optimal living doesn't allow you to look at that light and be like, "Ugh," you know? It's just, it's,
Yeah, when the one inside the actual shower goes out, that's when I will really feel
that's
it
the
because
only time, that's the
I love
only
that one.
time enough pain is created.
Yeah, that one is really important to me.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so this is huge, everybody. I think, Layla, it sounds like, so do you put a to-do list in your journal right next to like your dreams? Like, are they close on the couple pages apart? I mean, are they right there together?
Yeah, well, I like to keep things separated, so I
Okay.
keep it page for page, so I know I bought myself like a really fancy, nice journal that I like to carry around that I like
Nice.
to have with me.
Nice.
So I actually like people to see me writing in it. I get
Yeah.
questions about it.
I love it.
When they're like, "Oh wow, what's that?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'm writing my life story here."
Right.
Uh,
This is my
and
journal. I carry this thing around all the time. I mean, it's a little bit of branding for me too. People ask about, what it is and stuff, but you got to have something that is like feels awesome
yeah.
to okay, so now do you do a
But you're
diet?
so right about it being like in the present moment because I just had an experience of being on stage in front of 4,000 people and
Yeah.
creating this massive impact. And when I wrote about it that night, there was just something electric about the way that I was writing. It was so in that exact moment.
Yeah.
And even though I had been reliving a little bit in my previous journal experiences, being on stage in a bikini and all that,
Yeah.
there was something magical about being in this moment at that time and just coming off the stage and feeling that electricity.
Oh, I love it
So,
because then you get to bottle that up. You get to go back. You
oh,
can look at that. And a lot of you guys, you got to track your wins. You've got to go. I mean, you want confidence and you're lacking confidence. You go back through a journal that has, you know what? Today I had my first $7,000 day, my first $12,000 day, my first $20,000 week, my first lead. I don't care what it is, but if you can go back, you can kind of harness and reharvest the emotional collateral that you created earlier. And that's the power of the diary. So what's cool is like one of the things that was really powerful for me too, Layla. You know what? No, I'm not gonna jump in on this. I want to hear for one more thing, and then I'll tell you. I got one other really powerful thing to journal everybody about journaling that I'm gonna share. But so may we ask? I mean, only to the level that you feel cool and comfortable. When it turns into the big dream for you, now? Have you been thinking about the vision for like what's next? So you did the 4,000 people, you're on stage cheering, yay. Do you have a have you written, have you thought, have you visualized about what the next big, like, wow, when that happens, that'll be huge? Is it an income goal? Is it a feeling? Is it a, you know, you want to have you written anything down about that, or are you still
Yeah,
in
yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of thinking?
I have written things down
Okay.
because I've already kind of lived it in my mind and
Right.
experienced it actually with these people. And what it is for me is experiencing that ripple effect where what I've created on stage with walking them through this visualization of them being on stage and them having this impact on the masses and creating massive change. So it's really my vision for them and for our team and for the people that we're working with.
Yeah.
It's become bigger than me. So, it was like I have it like epically etched into my
Mm-hmm.
brain when we were on stage and we were walking them through this
Yeah.
visualization, and I opened my eyes and I looked down in the front row. There was these two guys. One guy had like kind of like a like Wayne's World kind of hair,
Right.
uh, covered in tattoos, and the two guys were holding each other, bawling their eyes out. And that was the first thing that I saw when I opened my eyes from stage. And I just like was
Wow.
what? Like what? That's crazy. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Wow.
That's huge. And then I scan the crowd and I see everyone crying, everyone having this breakthrough
Mm-hmm.
moment with me on stage and believing that they have this power within them.
I
And so it
love it.
was like now I can anchor that into my mind
Mm-hmm.
and I can relive that when I read this journal I created that night. It's just like
Wow.
I've read it so many times over and over and over again because it just reinforces
Mm.
that power that I felt. But everything, like you said, I was talking about this today, this morning on a conference call about celebrating your victories
Right.
and celebrating the victories of your team.
Right.
And that was something that you really opened my eyes to. It was on that cruise ship
Mm-hmm.
when we were on the MLM cruise or
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
and you were talking to me about putting people's stories into my autoresponders, and
Yes.
that's when it all clicked for me, and I was like, this is bigger than me. My vision is bigger than me, and that's when I think I really started to tap into my bigger purpose.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Layla, you're awesome. Thank you for sharing so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
You're
having
you're
me. I
rock, and
appreciate it.
I appreciate everything. I appreciate everything. So thank you.
Me and Gordy are here snuggling on our new couch, listening
Ooh
to
boy,
on your
send
wall.
me a pic. All right, love you, Toby, too. All right, so here's the deal, my friends. Oh, there's so much more to talk about. It's making me sick. Here's what I want to do, though. I do want to invite you onto my Be Prolific webinar that I'm going to be hosting because I'm going in a lot deeper to what it means to become prolific. Like this was kind of shooting from the hip, and that's not what I wanted to do. I want to send to everybody. I'm not sure how to. This is the deal. I'm not sure how to. That's the link. But this is next Tuesday. I'm going to go into how to be prolific. You know what? Somebody send me a question in the question box or something. Type me a question. I think I can send the link that way to everybody, maybe. But I'm not even sure how I do that. Wow. That's really sad. Wait a minute. There we go. All right. I've only done 1,000 plus of these things, but here's the short story. On Be Prolific, what I'm going to go into is I'm going to literally gamify. I'm going to gamify the $1,000,000 day, and we're going to do a little competition. We're going to have some very measurable ways for you to bulk out and achieve more than you ever thought you could achieve in a single day. It's going to be a heck of an experience, and I want you to be a part of it. It's the Be Prolific, the $1,000,000 day mindset. It's going to be really about getting every single thing, having every single thing in your life done, getting it done, and then you open up a space where you can become prolific. And it's 37 bucks. It's going to be probably a 90-minute webinar by the end of the day. It'll probably be 60 solid minutes of content, another 30 minutes of going deeper and things like that. But we're going to gamify the $1,000,000 day mindset. I'm going to break you through and trigger, like I did tonight. I did a little bit of the triggering on the lights, on the clocks, but I'm going to measure it out so it's really specific. For instance, every clock There's certain things that aren't done in your life that they have to get done to create an environment for prosperity. One of them is your clocks. Your microwave clock, your clocks everywhere. They should be accurately on time. There shouldn't be one 15 minutes early, one 10 minutes early, one 7 minutes early, one this, one that, one the other thing. They should be on generally maybe a minute ahead of schedule, but they should all be unified. There shouldn't be any clocks that are off. So that's going to be part of the make sure everything's done. Your car clock should be the right time. All this stuff, your watch, you name it. If you have a watch, you name it. The light bulbs. I'm going to walk you through some life things, through some relational things. For instance, there shouldn't be a week going by where you're not deeply bonding with your children. If you have children, your hands should be on their hair, tasseling their hair. If you pray with them, you should be praying. Like there's a lot to do relationally. There's a lot to do in just plain old life. And then business, there's a ton to do. So what Be Prolific is going to do is I'm going to walk through the $1,000,000 day mindset. I'm going to really what's the proper word for it? Itemize it out. And we're going to spend that time busting out your list. So you're actually going to create the list on the webinar with me. And then you're going to challenge yourself to do one or two. You're going to have 3 days maximum, $3,000,000 days to complete that entire list as much as is humanly possible. You're going to have 3 days. And I'm going to prove to you, and you're going to prove to yourself, that this $1,000,000 day mindset will be the most revolutionary thing you've ever done. So if you've been thinking, this would be awesome to try, I want to recommend you try it inside this webinar because you're going to be able to leverage the collateral experience of a bunch of people going through it, and we might even team you up with somebody. But I'm gonna feature people that have breakthroughs because of what that course is going to do, and you're going to have breakthroughs that you have. It's going to be mesmerizing. So this is the link. I sent it to everybody in the chat box there. It should be hanging out somewhere. And as another offer, once you buy that, I'm giving you some bonuses that are crazy. One is the 13 Super Productivity Secrets. These are inside my leadership branding course, which sells for anywhere from $12.95 down some. But this is one training that is one of the most popular referred to. It's 13 Super Productivity Secrets. How do you physically feel? How do you get yourself into a physical vibe of massive productivity? And I'm going to go into how you do that. I'm going to go into how I batch out my email. A lot of stuff from the 4-hour work week that I adopted and used in my own life. Nobody can see this link. Okay, let's see. That link should be hanging out. Well, there it is up here. So it's like this long, incredibly horrible. Yeah, the redirect link didn't work earlier. So GoDaddy, I don't know what your deal was. Webinar. Yeah. So anyway, I think I sent it to everybody. It should be on there somewhere, but regardless, the 13 Super Productivity Secrets thing is really sweet, and it's going to show you how I do emails, how I communicate this and that and the other thing. Now, executive communication, this was inside my Irresistible Info Marketing Blueprint. The key with executive communication is the reason they take much longer than they have to if you don't know executive communication. Executive communication, the root word is execute, as in death, meaning when you communicate something, it's a closed loop communication. You basically follow a strategy where when you send an email, everybody knows exactly what to do. They don't have questions. They're motivated. They don't have questions. They understand why they should do what they should do. They understand the time frames and the requirements, exactly precisely what to do. And if you want lifestyle freedom, it's impossible without executive communication, because at the end of the day, to have true lifestyle freedom, you have to have the leverage of other people. And the only way you can get them moving and mobilizing them is through executive communication, because if you don't, the masses of people that are serving as your leverage, whether it's a team in MLM, whether it's affiliates, whether it's your staff, whatever those forms of leverage, if you don't have executive communication, those people are going to turn into a nightmare to you. They're going to be high maintenance. They're going to be asking repetitive over and over questions. They're going to be confused. And executive communication, this training, just so you know, anybody who works with me personally, I require that they watch executive communication communication, and then I have them watch it again like a month later, and then I have them watch it again because I do not communicate on a personal, like in business, unless somebody understands my executive communication stuff, because you can get so much done so fast. And that was part of the Irresistible Info Marketing Blueprint. This training also has a PDF that goes through all the tips on executive communication. So you're going to get the 13 super productivity secrets. You're going to get the executive communication, which you've got to watch. If you work with people at all, the executive communication thing is one of the, it's just so awesome. You're going to absolutely love it. And then we also have the time freedom flow chart and how to get assistance, because at the end of the day, it's about seeing that human capital is the most precious kind of capital. Human leverage. You can turn a human on. A human can do amazing things. You have to have leverage of assistance, of staff, of members of your team, of affiliates. That's where the super wealth comes. So the issue is time freedom, though. Okay, because here's the big battle, and this is a little bit of free training for you. The big battle in building a lifestyle that is worth a dang is that you have to have assistance. You have to have leverage. You have to have teammates or affiliates or whatever. Raise your hand if you're following me on that. You have to be able to do more work and get paid on more work, you have to do more, you have to get more done. And you get more done by having other people chip in. And if you have a team of 100 people chipping in, you're getting, and they're working, 8 hours, that's 800 hours accomplished in a day. If you have, okay, I'm telling you guys, financial freedom is about other people. And so whether you're an MLM, whether you're an affiliate marketer, I don't care what it is. If this is your staff, your tech lord, your assistant, you maybe have one other thing and you've got an affiliate base. Now, if your affiliate base goes out there and works, let's say you have 100 affiliates on your team or whatever, and they do 3 hours a day of like productive work, sending emails, hosting webinars, closing sales, whatever, that is 300 hours of work on your behalf. 300 hours. People, I mean, it's crazy. My friends back home, I'm very, they're my high school buddies. So it's like they ask questions and I just tell them. They're like, "How much did you make today, Mark?" And I'll be like, "It's about 16,000 bucks or something." And they'll say, "How was that possible?" And I said, "Well, I have probably," and I explained it to them because it was such a miracle for them. They couldn't understand. I said, "Here's the thing. And at the time, whatever it was, I said, I have about 8 people that earn 6 figures that work directly with me. And every time they make a sale, I do whatever. And they spend probably X amount of time today. They maybe spent, 8 hours total. So I got about 64 hours of work done today. It was happening. Not to mention my assistant worked 8 hours today or 10 hours. So I'm at 74 hours. Not to mention my other staff who was following up on leads and blah, blah, blah. I did about 84 hours of work today in human body. Not to mention that I have videos that are getting watched 24/7 all day long. So I've probably had another 20 or 30 hours of my videos watched today working and selling for me. So I've worked today probably 130 hours. It would make sense that at 16,000 bucks I'm making minimum wage. Okay? Raise your hand if you get that. That's how you need to explain MLM to people. That's how you got to explain everything to people, because it's just like, how can you make that much money? It's not real. It can't be real. Well, it's totally real. You're leveraging, you're getting a lot more. You're becoming Voltron. You're not just you out there as a slave in a job trading time for money. You're actually having time created for you on your behalf. It's one of the most powerful things ever. But here's the problem. Um, with all this leverage, if you don't know executive communication, this leverage becomes a pain in the butt. They're calling you 24/7. They're texting you, calling you, confused. They don't know what's going on because you're not communicating to them. So the executive communication, the video above this, you've got to watch. But then you've got to learn how the time freedom flow chart, which I spell out in great detail in this, and then how I personally have gotten several assistants that are great, and you can learn a lot from my mistakes. And then the final bonus on here, which this is a really great offer if you haven't taken me up on it yet, the Be Prolific webinar. Take me up on that. Join me on that. Okay, we got a bunch of people joining, so I'm feeling good now. But this one is how to love living dogs instead of dead lions, and you basically discover the joy of right now, discover the secret of making money right now. This comes from an old Solomon verse that says a living dog is better than a dead lion, and the idea is that a dead lion is like a very big futuristic thing that's a dream of ours, and a living dog is like your actual, or a lion would be something like when my list reaches or my team hits 300 people, or my bank account hits $20,000 in it, or I join up with the right opportunity, or it's some just fantasy, or when I'm in this house then I'm going to be happier, oh when I drop this weight then I'm going to be happier, then I'm going to have energy. All these things are big lions that are way out there, and it's better to love the living dog that is your current body. You're never going to have the other body of that person you think you have. You're probably not going to have a different spouse. Your spouse is probably 80% what they should be, and 20% annoys you maybe, or something like that. But it's like the living dog. So how do you really embrace the living dogs? Do you have a perfect business right now? Probably not. It's kind of a living dog. It pays you. It does its thing. It's not the best thing in the world. You'd rather have this dreamy business that money just comes crashing in all the time, whether you're laughing or playing and you're feeling fulfilled. Now, but that's a lion out there. So how do you live with the living dogs and sometimes convert the living dogs into living lions, which your business and your romance and a lot of that stuff can become not just a living dog. But this is a powerful training. It's out of my Solomon CEO Society stuff, and you're going to love it. So that's kind of the whole offer. But the Be Prolific webinar, I'm going to walk you through and guide you through that $1,000,000 day exercise, and I think you're going to love it. I really think you're going to love it. So with that, I'm in. Thanks, Irlanda. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Wealth Fast 5,000. Is that what you said, Demir? Is that the link they can go to? Wealthfast5000.com. Boom. So if you go to wealthfast5000.com, you can get registered for that webinar, and it's Tuesday, 9 p.m., and you're going to absolutely love it. Now, I will take any questions. I can hang out a little bit more. I'm really hot on this whole executive communication thing. Raise your hand if you want me to open it up a little bit and share a little freebie so you can see kind of what you're getting, because I will. If you raise your hand, I'll give you some insight into the PDF. So the thing with executive communication, this is a big one for me because oh man, it's just such a intense thing for me. Let me show you one little thing. This is a letter I wrote, a real letter that I wrote to one of my to my team, to D&T. Okay, so this was Demir and Teresa. This is exactly a piece of just, I copied it right out of my real life. So here it is. T is my assistant, D is my tech lord, and Rob was a new video guy. So I say, so there's basically a new member to the team that's just getting added. Okay, he's never met anybody else. He just came out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I'll do work for you." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." So this is an email, and I want you to understand that every question is answered, everything is made sense, and executive communication happens. Now, inside the video, I go into this, but I say, Rob is a college-aged, Mac-friendly video warrior. Treat him as royalty. So the question is, who is this guy? He's Mac friendly, he's a video warrior, and we treat him with a lot of respect, period. So that's how he started off. Because we are getting painfully backlogged with getting our video stuff online, webinars mainly, and some new Solomon CEO stuff I haven't sent yet, Rob is going to edit and upload a few vids for us. I'm telling the why, right? Here's the why. We're painfully backlogged. I'm telling the what. Webinars mainly, some new Solomon CEO, and Rob is going to edit and upload a few vids for us. I say we just give him access to Brian's Dropbox account and let him hammer away at a couple of vids, upload them, and see how it goes. Brian is slammed with getting married, buying a house, traveling like a rock star, so Rob and Brian can just split doing videos as they have time. Because, again, people need to know why you're communicating things. For instance, we're going to have Rob do some videos. So what would my team say? Well, what about Brian? Isn't Brian doing it? I'm like, Brian is slammed. He's getting married. He's buying a house. He's traveling like a rock star. They're going to split it up and do videos as they have time. Below is Rob's info, which I think I probably edited out. And then raise your hand if you're feeling what I'm saying right now. People need to know why. You can tell them to do things, but they have to know why. And even you should maybe say, well, they don't need to know why. Well, they do. They actually require to know why, or they will not act in a timely manner. They will not get it, and you will not get stuff done. So I say, can we give him access to the Dropbox and any other info needed to grab the video and upload so he can send me a link and I can post it and make money? This is the end goal. Get him access to Dropbox so he can send me a link and I can post it and make money. I trust Rob, so let's get rolling. The other thing is, should Rob have our passwords? Should Rob have this? Again, treat him like royalty. I trust him. Let's get rolling. Thanks to all you guys, and Lady T, love you guys, and I could not do life without you. Rob's total info. Here's cell, Skype, email, blah, blah. No need to inform me. Here's the biggie. No need to inform me on anything from this point. Just send me finished links. Do not ask me if it's okay, should they use this video player or that. Do not talk to me at all. Just send me finished links. Raise your hand if you get that. You have to, when a real book on leadership comes out, it's going to be titled How to Tell People What to Do. And it's going to be, I think I'll write it. Because the better you get at telling people what to do, the more gets done and the happier. They like to be guided. People like to know what to do. So I said, basically, because now I have a team. Now, imagine if I sent this email and like people were asking questions back. So I said the first task, man, this is so damn good. You guys have got to get this. You have got to get on this Be Prolific stuff, and go to wealthfast5000.com. It's $37. You get immediate access to this stuff tonight, and like these videos, the value on these things, just in what they can do to save you time, is just man, it's just awesome. Okay, so anybody, you're free to not be here. I mean, we're in overtime, and I understand that. So, we got a couple hundred people on here, so I want to keep sharing. So anyway, I say first task. I have a video titled Suhail Retail Training or something like that. Edit it and get it inside the coaching club. Once the link is done, please send the email to the club. I have it in the PS. Onward and upward. Subject: club only. Retail breakthrough. Vid now. Now follow this. I say, so we have this really cool retail-hungry teammate named Suhail in Canada. Adam sponsored him, by the way. Suhail is a stud. He created a Google pay-per-click, wanting to target blah, blah, blah. You will see exact numbers inside his campaign. They are impressive. He asked me to look over his stuff. I said, well, if you let me record it and spill all the info to the club members, then yes, I'll do it. He quickly agreed. Inside, you'll discover there's tons of retail traffic on Google pay-per-click, and for retailing our deal. Number 2, you will see his strategy, which includes actually mailing a physical DVD to the leads. Number 3, you will hear my concepts on deepening the level of engagement with the leads, although blah, 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 blah. So buckle up, put on your learning hat, all love, log in, and let's see he'll know on Facebook. You appreciate his willingness. Here's the link. So literally, it went from a raw email, or a raw video unedited, and in this email, like a bullet, literally like a bullet, I sat down. I don't know what a bullet looks like, but I'm not going to draw it because I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to draw. We'll call it an arrow. It's like an arrow where everything is exactly known what to do to the point where the email is getting sent out with the updated video. Everything is done, all from one email. Raise your hand if you can see why I can create lifestyle freedom for myself. Most people would say, hey everybody, let's hop on a quick webinar so I can introduce you to Rob. Okay, Rob, here's what we're going to do. Rob's going to do video editing for us. Here's his information. You guys connect with him. Well, what should he do? There's videos. Well, what about Brian? Well, Brian's busy. Well, should they equally split videos? Well, oh my gosh. Minutia will kill you, my friends. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for minutia. Don't do it. It'll kill you. It doesn't deserve your time. This type of email, this training, executive training, is so dang powerful that it just makes me really, really, really happy. And I go into the ad copy of how to go into stuff. But let me give you one other thing about executive communication. It's a gun that can be shot by the recipient immediately with no questions. And this includes your list. For instance, I don't know if, obviously most of you guys are probably on my list or you wouldn't have been here somehow unless you came through Facebook. But here's the thing. Um, I think I'm the only person that I know. Well, I don't know. Who cares if I'm the only person I know? But I had an idea one day when I thought, you know what? What if we didn't do all this monkey business with creating the sales video and the pop-up timer and all this stuff? What if I just started typing an email and all I did was type the email and it answered everything and the person just bought? Let's just try it. So when they click, they don't go to like a page with testimonials and a page, and they just go literally directly to a buy button. Let's just try it. I started trying it, and it changed. I mean, we did, I think, in just these little, I forgot what it was. I think it was like 120,000 bucks or something. In these little emails with the only work my tech guy did. I wanted to save time. Okay, so I didn't want to make a sales video because you got to edit it and you got to look good and you got to do it right. I just wasn't in the mood for a sales video. And I didn't want to eat up bandwidth from my tech lords because they're busy on other stuff. And I thought, what's the easiest possible thing to make money as fast as humanly possible, creating wealth out of thin air? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to write an email that just goes directly to the payment page, just right here. So when they click, they were sold through the email. Raise your hand if you've seen me send these before. And what it was, these things that I call them espresso offers, they're so easy. You guys have to start doing espresso offers. I have them. You know what? I should be selling my espresso shit right now too. But sorry for the swearing. But you guys got to know that formula. Mike Hobbs did it, and he said the first time he did it, I think he sent, literally he typed an email to an order page, and I think he made like 1,600 bucks just as an experiment. And it was so easy, it was just ridiculous. But Wealth Fast 5,000, see a lot of sales coming in. On the Be Prolific webinar, just to go back to this whole Be Prolific thing, is like I said, we're going to go over this million-day concept and we're going to gamify it for you. So it's going to be a lot more, because here's the pain of what I'm feeling right now. Here's the fact of what I know beyond the shadow of a doubt. There are 99% of you heard the idea of write everything down in your life, every single thing, and you thought to yourself, that might be painful, but I kind of shared a little more and I gave you a little bit of ideas on what to do. And you mentally said to yourself, in your mental state, you said to yourself, yeah, I can do this. Okay? Yeah, yeah. I can write down every single thing that I should have done in my life. Raise your hand if you kind of got to that place with me mentally where you were like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Okay, so tons of you did. And then on top of that, then I said the $1 million illustration. And then I backed it up with my own $1 million personal day. And I told you how you just go like crazy, you work like gangbusters, and you do realize if somebody gave you $1 million, then and if your mind was magnetized on receiving $1 million all day long, you would gravitationally attract $1 million faster than anybody else does, because you're actively thinking about it and you're prepping your mind and you're getting your mind used to making $1 million and everything. And then a lot of you saw that and you said, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can totally do that. Raise your hand if you were mentally with me at that, where we shared to a point where it was like, yeah, absolutely. Now, here's what I know for a fact. I know for a fact that most people were yeah, and I know for sure that some people will start playing with this idea, like in kind of a casual way, like, yeah, I'm gonna try this thing out. But at the Be Prolific Million Day Mindset training, and you're gonna get the recording if you miss it, and it's gonna have PDFs. You're gonna have the trigger. I know I'm gonna set you up to have a platform for you to actually do this everything list, and then I'm going to have a system where you're incentivized to actually do it. You're going to have breakthroughs, and I want to just take it to the next level so that you really do 2 or 3 of these days over the next. I'm going to time limit it, so it's going to be like a 12-day thing. So you have to do $3 million days, and then we're going to come back, and you're literally going to hear personal miracles. Now, I'm not saying like the blind can see, but I'm going to say for people right now, and if you're hearing my voice, you have little projects and little ideas for ebooks or videos or this or that that have been in your mind for 3 to 6 to 9 months, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. You're going to be able to wipe out weeks and weeks and weeks in a day, in one day. It's going to blow you away, and we're going to come back as kind of a reunion that will be free. That's going to be part of this. I didn't share that yet. And you're going to hear people on how their $1 million day mindset and what they achieved, and the simple willpower that will rub off on you will change your life. The activity itself of the $1 million days will change their life, but then when you experience the breakthroughs, it will change. When you hear about the breakthroughs, it'll change your life. Now, Wealth Fast 5000, I really feel good about this offer. In fact, I feel so good about it. That's why I'm really crafting to share as best I can at what is on the table here. Wealth Fast 5000. It's next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to walk you through the $1 million day mindset. I'm going to walk you through how to become prolific, because here's what happens, as I mentioned earlier. Once you actually get everything done in your life, your brain, just like I shared earlier, your brain, instead of pouring all its energies inside to try to metabolize and erase these undone problems, your brain will actually be free and be able to absorb the information and of books better. You're going to have ideas, they seem to just show up. You're going to be more attentive, more attuned, more dialed in, because this space in your brain is happy. It's not sitting there working. It's almost like undone stuff in our in our metabolic system. When you drink alcohol, and I drink alcohol, so this isn't a don't drink alcohol speech, but your body, as soon as you consume the alcohol, the resources deal with detoxifying your body and metabolizing this alcohol, and pretty much everything goes, all the vital energy goes to purging and digesting and getting that alcohol out of the system, because that's what your body does. So when people gain a lot of weight and they say they have a beer gut, it's because by pouring the beer, the body's always dealing with that on top, and your fat, they're just not getting to the rest of the stuff, because your body is just dealing and trying to keep up with cleaning out the alcohol. So it's the same thing with undone stuff. When you have undone stuff, all your mind is focusing in on getting that stuff done, and it's eating up energy, and so you're not able to receive thoughts. So I want to set you up to literally have a prolific business and do it in an amazing way. WealthFast5000.com. We got a lot of people coming in, and I'm really excited about it. I'd love if you're joining us on the Be Prolific. I would love to hear from you, and you just share like why you joined, why you did it, what you're excited about. Raise your hand. I'll unmute you if you've got a mic, and I just absolutely love to hear from you. So if you raise your hand, okay, I'm coming. Kathleen, let's go with Kathleen. Kathleen, are you out there? Kathleen.
Hi.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm here.
well, hey, welcome to the Be Prolific little movement we're doing. Tell me.
Well, you're amazing.
Well, thank you.
And
Hey, seriously, thank you for the patronage. It is $37. It's not like it's a huge thing, but it means a lot to me, and it's a big trust that you give to me, and I promise I'm going to do well with it. But tell me, why were you inspired to take action tonight?
okay, I have never heard of you. I didn't know who you were. I saw a link on Layla's page, who I've been following for quite some time, and I clicked on it. And I'm telling you, I've been struggling right now with just getting motivated and
Right?
procrastination and getting out of my zone. And today I
Right.
had a bit of a breakthrough with that.
Nice.
But when you were talking about that $1 million day, and I'm just right now, I'm looking around my house, and my spouse is out of town working, and he's coming home Thursday, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I got so much work to do.
Hey,
And
where are you from,
I actually,
Kathleen?
while I've been talking to you, I'm thinking I'm going down to get a brand new journal. And I
Yes.
seriously, I probably have 10 journals in my house right now.
Yeah.
And I've written in every single one of them. They're so disorganized because I write everything all the time. But I need one journal just for this project.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Well,
Anyway, yeah,
we're gonna go crazy.
you're
Hey, where do
amazing.
you live, by the way?
I'm in Canada.
I
I'm just
sense a
outside of
little,
Vancouver.
I sensed a little bit of Canadian in that voice.
Yeah, I'm just 3 hours outside of
I
Vancouver.
love it. So what was the biggest takeaway tonight? It was the $1 million day concept.
It
That
was
was the
the
biggest.
$1 million. Yeah, it was the million
Yeah.
dollar day because I just
Yeah.
I have procrastinated about. I sold a conventional business over 6 months ago,
Right.
and I literally have a pile of boxes in the corner of my living room that I've been staring at for 6 months. My accountant, I'm sure, would like to finish up the paperwork, and
Yeah.
I told myself, oh, my boyfriend's only gone 10 days this time. I can't get at it. I'll wait
Yeah.
till he goes away the next time for 3 weeks,
I love it.
and just procrastinate all the time about everything. And when I don't, and I focused on
Yeah.
getting started, like today with my business,
Yeah.
I put forth some major effort,
Nice.
and I felt so good about it.
And this is like the master key to happiness is actually work. Doing good work and feeling achievement is more powerful than receiving money. The feeling of achievement feels better than receiving money, and anybody who's achieved a lot can tell you that. All right, Kathy, or wait a minute, it's not Kathy. Wait a minute,
No, it's
Kathleen.
Kathleen, but you're all
Kathleen,
good.
you're awesome. Thank you. And Layla, thank you. I mean, thank you for promoting that link. And she wasn't an affiliate for this or anything. She just did it because she knew there would be value for you, Kathleen. So I love it.
Well,
And
I
Kathleen,
appreciate it.
let me
Nice meeting you.
let me
Thank
encourage
you.
you though, Kathleen, to go through this.
Yes.
You're going to get the login for this bonus, the 13 productivity secrets. This is really powerful. Like I've had a lot of people, this has changed their life. The executive communication thing, since you're maybe new in this industry, it won't be as relevant right away. But as your team grows, and you're going to see that this will come in extremely handy. The time freedom flow chart, it's all about time freedom, and then the living dogs versus dead lions. People get a kick out of this training. So make sure you dive into those trainings in preparation so we can become prolific together. Kathleen, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, rock and roll. All right, let's hear from somebody else because that was awesome. Well, Fast 5000. If you want to share, I want see. Let's see. Did Tracy? Were you on it? Tracy. Oh my gosh, I love Tracy. Okay, hang on here. Tracy, are you out there?
Oh my gosh, I'm here.
Tracy, what's shaking, girl? So you're in. Like, what's going on?
Dude,
Why?
I was in immediately. I didn't even need tonight.
Well, what did you like best about tonight? What was like the main
Well, you know
deal?
what? I posted and I tagged you so you'll
Right?
see it. But I have had this unbelievable hunger for consuming information for as long as I can remember.
Really?
So
Okay.
one of my goals for 2013 is to read 50 books. I took a speed reading course, like whatever I could do
I love it.
to learn. So, when you went through that earlier, I mean, it just gave me goosebumps to realize I'm sitting in our converted dining room.
Right.
We made it into a library, and
Nice.
I'm surrounded by all my books, all my courses, all
And
my
did you know?
everything.
You know what? I was just reading on. I read like Men's Health, Women's Health. I read health stuff all the time. I think 66% of people report just looking at a book, not even reading it, just looking and being around books is a de-stressor. That's why if you think of a library, you just think usually pretty chill and stuff. So it's a great de-stressor thing. But so Tracy, this is Tracy, everybody on the screen, and she's lovely and beautiful, and she's beautiful spirit and the whole deal. Tell us some other main thing. What's the main thing you're most excited about with the Be Prolific stuff? Is it the bonus trainings? Is it the actually going through that $1 million day and playing it, or what's
Yeah,
most
I mean,
exciting?
Mark, so much. I mean, I've done the pour everything out and make the massive list. I've done that. It's worked.
Right.
It's worked really, really well for
Right.
me in the past. But I mean, honestly, just I know how much journaling. I mean, journaling has transformed my life.
Right.
More specifically, just gratitude and being
Yeah.
thankful. So I'm really excited about some of the bonuses. In fact, I didn't realize I had them until you were going through them tonight.
Oh yeah, these
So
are.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think for you especially, you're working with Tam, right? Your Tam's.
And Toby and Layla, that one right
Holy
there. I
moly.
can't wait to dive into
Hey,
that
you know
course.
what? You know what? Make sure they watch this executive communication so that wouldn't it be great to receive nothing but executive communication where you have no.
Heck yeah.
So, Toby, Layla, if you guys are still out here, your job is to make sure you've totally mastered this thing so Tracy's life is easier and better. Isn't it?
Amen.
I love. No, this is, and let me know what you think of all this too, Tracy. You're awesome.
I will. You're awesome, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let's hear from somebody else. Raise your hand. Thank you, Tracy and Kathleen. You guys are awesome. Let me just share another little thing about the productivity secret things. If you don't have the 4 Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week, that book changed my life in ways that were unimaginable. Let me just give you one of the secrets of the 13 secrets is it's called, like, I call it the batter's box principle, where before in baseball, before someone goes up to the plate to hit, they're usually in the bullpen swinging like 3 bats at a time, right? And then they step up to the plate. So for me in productivity, what the batter's box principle is when I'm out there, I breathe. I like to breathe really heavy in the morning before I do anything because it just the blood starts moving and it's good for the blood flow and everything. And so every step I take, I imagine $1,000. Well, nowadays I imagine like $25 to $50,000 every single step I take. And it's so funny that unconsciously, I was at the gym the other day just walking into the gym, and I realized my mind was processing $25,000 at a time deposits just walking into the gym. And I'm like, I have unconsciously now habitually created movement with money. Just the act of movement creates wealth for me. So it's really crazy. But anyway, when I go on a run and imagine $1,000 every step, I show up before I get to the real world, and I've made several $1,000,000 mentally. And it's carrying like the batter's box. You're bringing all that stuff, and then you're showing up. The other thing with the batter's box is before I would call leads or whatever, I would sit with a stack of books and I would burn through them. And I don't like that word. I'm not a reader. I'm a scammer. I'm a skinner. I'm a skimmer. And I burn through and grab ideas and just get frickin' pumped mentally. And then I show up in the marketplace. So it's very powerful. If you look, Jay Abraham is another great book. You got to read everything by Jay Abraham. But when you burn through in 10 minutes and you flip through a 400-page book by a billionaire, by a man who has generated $1 billion plus for his clients. He's one of the best, probably the best marketer in the world, I would guess, Jay Abraham. He was behind any industry, everything, he's behind it. So he's like the guru to the gurus to the gurus, the original guru. Anyway, you burn through a 400 pages of him in 10 minutes and then you show up and deal with your piddly little business, it becomes a joke. It's like, my business is so uncomplicated and simple. Send a video, write an offer, boom. The problems of the day, they become light because of the batter's box principle. That's just one of the 13 super productivity secrets, and I go a lot deeper into them. So if you go to wealthfast5000.com, wealthfast5000.com, you can get access immediately. You'll get an email that'll give you access to not just super productivity secrets, but the other bonuses and the $1,000,000 day. All right, if you bought and you want to share why you're joining us, raise your hand. Make sure it's raised, and I will. Let's see. I want a guy. I'm getting lots of girls. Raise your hand. You women are so awesome, but a guy that bought. Okay, now we got some guys. Jose, are you out there? Jose, let's see. I muted you, and then I unmuted you, and then I remuted you. Okay. Jose, that's not going to work. Thank you for raising your hand. A guy that bought and dares Dennis Roberts. Dennis, my man, how you doing, brother? Dennis, you out there? Dennis.
Oh, sorry, I had my mute button on.
No worries. Dennis, how you doing?
Great. How about you?
I've never been better. Dennis, I think of you all the time because of that hike.
That was
just out of
I do too. I still have a few little marks on my forehead that don't go away, and I don't want them to.
Are you serious?
I mean, it's nothing. You'd have to really look. I mean, you probably couldn't see them, but I can kind of feel them.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it's a reminder that day, and it makes me laugh.
So we
all
went
the
on this
time.
massive hike,
It's a
everybody, in a
great
nutshell.
memory.
And Dennis was showing off. Were you flirting with somebody, or what was you were just showing off on this mountain? And
No,
he,
I was just having fun. You know, we're walking down the hill and I see this rock and I'm thinking of like being on a dirt bike or something.
yeah.
All right, well I'll just step off of this thing, jump and land, and I did. It was great. I didn't do it for anybody, but plus I was really
But he landed on his forehead. That's the part of the story that gets great. Okay, Dennis,
well.
you're amazing. Tell us. So, what was the big takeaway from tonight? Wealth Fast 5,000, everybody. If you're not in yet, join us. It's going to be awesome. But
Well, everything you do, Mark, is great.
thank
And
you.
you know, there are times when you have a need and you're looking for a solution. Well, this was a perfect match for me right now. You wouldn't believe all the junk I've got around here.
I believe it. So, what's the most exciting thing about the Be Prolific? Is it the act of like writing everything out and doing the $1 million day kind of thing, or is it more the the bonus videos that you get, or what was the main thing that's made you say to yourself, "Yeah, I'm buying this. I'm in."
Well, the webinar itself, but when you started
Right.
showing some of the info blueprint stuff,
Yeah.
that made a difference.
Yeah.
But I was going to get it anyway, so I didn't even need,
I
like,
love it.
I can't remember her name, but I don't need the webinar. You know, I saw it in the email, so I thought, yeah, I need to see that.
I love it. I love it. Dennis, you're so awesome, and I appreciate your patronage. And you got a great, you're just like a rushing wind of joy every time we see each other, and you're just so positive, and you're so awesome. And I trust you're doing well. I hope you're coming to some. I don't know what the next live thing is that I'm doing, but I always love it when you're around. Let's put it that way.
Well, you know, and I love seeing you, Mark. The video, let me just say this for everybody, the
Mhm.
video that the registration redirected to,
Yeah.
just, I mean, those things get me teary-eyed, Mark.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Joey still doing those?
It's combo now. It's Jonathan and Joey, and I kind of we all. It's a collective thing, but yes, Joey is still very actively. In fact, he moved right down here, so now he moved from PA, and he's right by us here in Phoenix. So
Cool.
he's still amazing. I have the best. I have been able to meet some of the best people, and it's so awesome. So, Dennis, you're amazing. Thank
Anyway,
you, and it's going to be
video's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, that
Thanks a bunch. It's just fantastic to talk to you,
I
Mark.
love it. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for the support. All right, gang, let's hear from another guy that bought. And for those of you who, you know what, shoot me some comments on that video. Was it good? Yeah, hey, you guys, everybody's free to take off. Like some people, yeah, you're totally free to take off. I'm just working I'm just going overtime because I know there's people that really should be in this Be Prolific thing, and I want to be here to share it through. So if you're here and you feel satisfied, hasta la vista. Feel free to leave. We're just in overtime, and I'm just rocking and rolling, and that's what I'm gonna do. So, Lee, let's hear from Lee. Lee, are you out there? Lee, Lee. No, I'm muting that out. All right, so I think I've shared kind of the deal. I think you guys are pretty clear on it. I can go a little bit more into the time freedom flowchart in a minute if you guys want, but Brandon, if you're still there, maybe. Okay, I'm putting all the hands down. If you want to share why you bought, let us know. And the reason I'm doing it is I want everybody to be able to hear. So I lowered all the hands. If you want to share, raise your hand, and I will call you out. You can even be a girl, and I will let it happen. Hobbs on the house. Mike Hobbs in the house.
What's up?
Hobbs, you badass. That's the word. That's the word of the year. I think it's official. The word of the year. Hobbs, thank you for supporting my business all the time. I just totally appreciate it. If you guys don't know Mike Hobbs, there he is. If he probably doesn't have any room. Nope, he doesn't have any room. But find him on Facebook or find him somewhere because he's just amazing. And when we met, I'm not going to spend long on this, but when we met, was it 80,000 in credit or debt, or was it 120? It was something like that.
Yeah, it was about 100,000.
100,000. I'll never forget it. You were like, "Yeah, my wife and I are about $100,000 in debt." And I was like, "Oh gosh, this is so intense." Anyway, so Mike, what did you take from tonight? What was the big takeaway tonight?
Well, it really resonated with me because I've made some money, and I feel that I'm pretty productive, you know. But then you got me thinking about everything
Right.
about that I haven't been doing. Like I have these videos. There's like these series of videos that I've been needing to do for 6 months, and I haven't done them. And I'm like, man, if I just treated this like if I had $1 million today by doing those videos, I probably would make, you know, a lot more money. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's just
got me a
crazy.
little bit.
You know, I got the idea when I was 18 and I got a youth pastor intern job that was paying like, 800 a month. And the senior pastor was making like 55,000. And so I pretended, that was the first time I used this little pretend thing where I said, "You know what? I'm going to do my job like I'm getting paid 55,000, not like I'm getting paid 200 a week." And I just started tearing it up, and then I ended up getting raises really fast and promoted, and eventually offered a full time like position there. So when I went into business, 55,000 wasn't going to cut it, but I thought $1 million day. Let's see what kind of leverage I can get on myself with this thought, and it just completely revolutionized my life. Tell me something else you learned from tonight. Here's what's cool, everybody, is Mike is, I mean, do you mind sharing what you did in the last month or so, what you and Adam and the gang have done? I mean, some numbers and team growth and, I mean, you guys, yeah, what was last month look like? The end of the month.
Well, last month I believe we pulled in about 70,000 total, and then like coming right out of our last event, which just barely happened, we had like about a $9,000 day.
Nice.
And it's starting to, you know, really pick up for sure.
Yeah. So like like 80,000 or so.
Oh yeah, we'll clear 100, you know, in February for sure.
Nice.
So we've had 100,000 months this year, which is awesome.
Yeah, and everybody and Mike is buying. I mean, Mike is buying. Maybe you're just buying because you're so damn nice, Mike. But
well, the funny thing is, I get on your website. I actually miss them because I haven't gone on them in a while.
Yeah.
You know, just like I used to go on
now that you're a big deal. Yeah, not everybody, but lots of people start on the Hoverson webinar and then they start making so much damn money they don't come back.
No, I really missed them. I really missed them because every time I listen, I get something. I get that little nugget that pushes me over the edge. So I'm excited about the prolific course because I didn't even think about it. You know, I thought of it as productivity. Now I want to be, you know, now I'm stuck on that word.
Yeah, exactly. Because when and here's the other thing, it's like, and I'm going to go into this on the webinar, but when you purge out the big list, you can rally like help. You know what I mean? Like there's people that can do virtually everything, and pretty soon you get good at like only doing the genius work, right? And if you're only doing your genius work or playing or sleeping or with your wife or kids, and it's just like the optimum quality of your life gets so optimized, and it's so it just feels so good to just be in either genius or play or love, or there's just no wasted BS, and your life just becomes very romantic at that point. So I'm going to teach more on that, Mike, and I think we're going to have a heck of a good time. Thanks for the patronage too, brother. And you know what I was thinking of doing? See, I keep thinking of doing this and I don't do it, but these $37 webinars, I think I should just make them affiliate offers that pay like 20 bucks. So your people could get them and you make 20 bucks a pop, and because they're really good for people. Like people, I'm just throwing that out there publicly to put a little leverage on myself to create that program.
Cool.
So anyway, Mike, tell me, okay, one more thing. What one other little nugget did you take from tonight? Wealthfast5000.com, everybody. 37 bucks for the prolific stuff. Can you afford to be without it? I don't know. But Mike, what's one other thing you got from tonight?
Well, I really liked how you talked about, you know, storing the knowledge and then writing down the vision, because I actually decided to do that myself, really write the vision down.
Right.
And I actually had this little breakthrough. I was like, today, I just felt like I was listening to a popular marketer, David, on his audio the other day, and he talked about bringing his family out on a yacht.
Yeah.
And all this thing. And I just like, man, wouldn't it be cool to have like a family reunion tradition where I just pay everybody, like my family, start with my family and go down, and when they get older and older, once a year, going out of the country and just paying everybody's way in
It's the
and
magic.
just going and having fun for a week, at least once a year, and just
Yeah.
making that a tradition every single year.
Yeah.
So I actually made that my vision now from here on out. Even if it's 50 grand,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take my whole family and go somewhere. If they can't afford it, doesn't matter. We're going.
Oh.
And it's
Yes.
really, really awesome.
And
So-
the thing is, when you start dreaming like this, like what Mike's doing, everybody, the meaning, because the joy becomes so like the joy is not created equal, my friends. There's joy in a cup of coffee. You know, this is a very great cup of coffee. I'm glad I'm drinking it. And then there's like a joy when you're in Italy and everybody's sipping coffee, overlooking whatever, or maybe not coffee, Mike, maybe whatever, tea or something. But you're sipping what you're sipping, and you funded the whole dang thing, and you created it, and you wrote it, and it started as a little idea. You nursed it in a book, and it actually happened. Like the joy, the sense of achievement, the feeling of agency, like I talked about at the start of this, of meaning, of purpose, and of mastery, all of it collides, and it's like a tidal wave of joy. It's insane. It's worth it, my friends. It's worth dreaming big just to achieve it and feel that. And Mike, you're going to feel it, and it's going to be unbelievable
Yeah,
for
I
you.
have chills. I have chills in my body when I just think of that. You know, it's really, really passionate.
I love it.
So,
Wealth
that-
Fast 5,000, my friends. For me, one of my big things, okay, Mike, thanks for sticking around and sharing and everything too. I'm going to mute you out. One of the big things for me was I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy, my dream is, because I coached a bunch of kids and they're all like 20 now, right? So they don't have much money, but it was the same concept as Mike. I'm like, I'm going to buy an extra mountain bike and I'm going to fly my friends from wherever they are, the young kids. I'm going to fly them up and hang out with them. So these kids are in college, you know, they're broke as a joke, but they fly up. We do fancy eating, golfing, biking. We have the absolute greatest time. I fly them out. I pay for everything. It feels so good, and it was a plan. I journaled it. I put it in a stupid journal, and it happened. And meaning showed up. Mastery was required to make it a reality, and agency that, you know what, I have a scarier amount of control over what happens in my life than I dare believe. And it's powerful stuff. And then in terms of vision, I want to share everything that I do as clear as I can, shake it out of my head for you guys so you can go do the things like Mike is doing. And it's just powerful stuff. I love it. All right, wealthfast5000.com. Again, I'm just going into overtime. Fear not if you have to go. We love you anyway. Brandon's still on. Let's hear from Brandon. Brandon, my brother, you out there?
Mark, how are you?
I have never been better, and I'm not even lying.
That's awesome.
That's a true story. So, Brandon, here's you and your beautiful tribe, it looks like.
That's them.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, Brandon, what was the big takeaway tonight for you in terms of like how to journal and potential and writing things, and what were a big takeaway for you?
The verse in Proverbs
Yeah,
that the wise man
stores up knowledge.
records knowledge.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest takeaway for me. I listen to personal development every day, and I do a lot of different things.
Right.
But I didn't record it, and I started journaling coming back from the event in Austin, and I noticed a big difference in what it was that I was expecting and what it was that I was getting in life, and it had to do with really writing down exactly what it was that my intentions were and keeping them clear and focused.
I love it. I love it. Brandon, that so storing up the knowledge. Yeah, what's crazy about, oh man, I didn't even think about this, but like an info product like Solomon CEO. Solomon CEO is basically me dumping out my experience of what I did with these proverbs. So, like I said earlier, I would imagine that I was actually the wise man, and I allowed myself to feel that instead of feel like I'm stupid, I'm shameful, I don't deserve it, I'm not smart enough, I'm not holy, I'm wise. So I just allowed my body to believe I was wise, sat in it, and then, what did store up mean, right? So it meant accumulating, it meant writing down, but it just dawned on me, hearing you, Brandon, that for me personally, the storing up of knowledge is actually creating these courses for people. Like I'm storing up, I'm dispensing the storage tank. So I'm not just consuming it, it's like coming in and then it's getting transformed through my experience and then it's getting redistributed. And it's like value add on value add. It's just I never thought of it like that till just now. That's freaking awesome. So that's another reason everybody should be an information marketer. You guys should turn your freaking experience into products because it's a way of storing up knowledge, literally storing it up in membership sites and stuff. All right, Brandon. Wow, that was a big breakthrough for me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, what was another thing from well, how about the Be Prolific? What are you excited about the Be Prolific um, experience? Like what are you looking forward to there?
I think the big thing for me, Mark, is the $1 million days. I'll be honest. I have always second guessed the visualization and actually putting yourself where you want to be in your mind so that you can experience it, what it feels like,
Right.
how it looks. And I think at the end of the day, it was either me saying that I wasn't good enough
Right.
to even think that way or experience it.
Right.
And the Be Prolific, what a mantra.
Right.
Be prolific.
Yeah.
And, since I've been able to move past that in my own mind and think about, think and visualize where it is that I'm going, I think that's one of the biggest areas that I've been able to turn a corner. And so I think this is really, just that next step, those $1 million days, and really hammering home
Right. And
exactly
yeah. And
how that looks.
the secret win in the $1 million day isn't just that like you get a whole bunch of stuff done and you feel great about it. I think the real secret of it is that all day long it's like you're in this receptive, attractive state of receiving $1 million. And it's this like this expectation that like the stuff you do, because it's a day that's like unbalanced, right? You're not having a 3 hour lunch. You're not taking a nap. You're like working like crazy to get this stuff done because at the end, you're going to be handed $1 million. But it's like everything you do is there's this $1 million kind of like energy in it. And it just, for me, it's literally created $1 million day. I mean, it was the weirdest thing ever. So,
Well, what's interesting about that, Mark, is I'd actually gone and done 1 and 2 day courses of things like Get Things Done.
right.
Yeah. Which was a productivity course.
Yep.
And what I found is that I'm a mid-level manager in a really large company during the day, and a lot of that stuff is good if you are, like I say, the proverbial monkey banging away at the keyboard all day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't move you into the mindset of an entrepreneur being paid to produce.
Right.
And in this product, I mean, I've been on lots of your webinars, and it's going to deliver. It's going to be awesome.
I'm so pumped. All right, thank you, Thank you so much, Brandon, for your continued patronage, your kind words, and that you're moving forward. You're gonna have your breakthrough. I mean, is your goal full time here pretty soon? I mean, what's the goal
My
for
goal
you?
is full time this year, Mark. That's the goal, and I'm going to ramp it up, and I'm going to get it done because it's not about me anymore. It's about my kids deserving it. It's about the people in my life who need somebody who can help them see that there's something better than what it is that they're doing, and somebody help them believe in what their vision is.
Yeah, and just the fact, here's the thing, everybody, for those of you who have jobs, if you heard what Brandon just said, an entrepreneurial mindset, somebody, there's two kinds of people, and Aaron Rash can help me. We just talked about it and kind of shook it down to this, is that there's virtually everybody's kind of, I don't know if hate their job is the right word, but everybody's just kind of generally, ugh, if given the choice, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? There's that kind of feel to a typical person who has a job. If given the choice, I wouldn't be here. Okay, so that's the general feel. But the average person would just rather be on the golf course, or the average person would just rather not be there. The entrepreneur is at their job and they're actively thinking, this is taking away time from what I could be doing. Like I could be having a business that's amazing. I could be growing my network. I could be making $1 million. I could be doing this. And it's a different kind of both people don't want to be at the job, but the entrepreneur feels I I this is taking away from my life. This is taking away from my potential, what I can be, what I can, the best version of me. This thing is holding me back from that. The other person just would rather be at the bar. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, Brandon?
It totally makes sense. Right now I'm reading the Charge by Brendan Burchard,
Yeah.
and about, I think it's the second or the third charge. It's about congruence,
Mm-hmm.
and having a life that's congruent with who you are.
Right.
And I will tell you, and this sounds, I'm sure I'm sure I'm with like company here,
Right.
on this call, but when people look at you and you start speaking about a vision, about where you're going, and they're looking at you from a perspective like, you have a good job, you should just stay where you are. Why are you doing something different or trying to do something different?
Yeah.
And some people allow that to hold them back, but
Right.
when you start developing who you are as a person and who you are as a leader, and really get comfortable with seeing, that there is something different, and your family deserves it, the
Right.
people around you deserve it, you feel out of congruence being at a job 9-10 hours a day.
Right.
And it really starts to change the way you look at it. And, I'll tell you, Mark, one of the most amazing things I did, I came back from Austin last week.
Right.
I was home for a couple of days, and then I went on a long weekend with my wife,
Right.
Which we hadn't done in a long time. And, I think that was probably one of the biggest shifts that I've ever experienced. And it did two things, right? It had me back in the office at the job, knowing exactly what I was going to be moving away from,
Right.
while being sandwiched in between developing myself as an entrepreneur, being at an event for 4 days, surrounding myself with successful people, including yourself and
Right.
Toby and Layla, and Tracy Reuter, all of these different people, and then spending the immediate time right after that with my wife, my
Right.
best friend,
Yeah.
and recognizing that those 2 or 3 days in between that I was in the office doing work, they don't have to exist.
Oh, amen. Holy crap, amen. And you know what? It's not even about, it's that feeling of just what you're saying. In fact, people, time isn't even created equal. Like for people who have a job, like for instance, you, Brandon, I guess you're a good example. Um, that's 8 hours of life, that is, or whatever, 10 hours. It's like it's gone almost. And it's almost like it was prostituted out for money. And it's sickening. It's just sickening to the entrepreneur at the end of the day. And granted, you're working for Christ, I believe you're, godly man and stuff. So you're working for Christ and you're doing it and you're not resenting it and stuff. But at the same time, there's being in love with the truth that is not what you're called to do. That's not the highest version of yourself. That's not putting you in an environment to become everything you can become. It's just not. And so it's like understanding that it's okay to get a little feisty about getting out of there. Boom.
Absolutely.
Holy moly, I went on a rampage. Brandon, thank you so much.
Good talking, Mark.
See ya. If you haven't gone to wealthfast5000.com, go there, take me up on the Be Prolific webinar. You're going to have access to surrounded. Tracy, we want to see a picture of this. And like I said, webinar, we still have over 100 people on here, so I'm just rolling with it because frankly, this is kind of all I did all day. This is the only thing I'm doing, so I'm just kind of wanting to be with you guys, and it's kind of like hanging out to me at this point. So I wanted to share something that I wrote the other day that was really powerful. This is what caused this whole dang thing, is my wife. She just wrote on here yesterday, seriously enjoy journaling. I'm not always consistent, but when I do journal, I feel so alive, and it's that aliveness when I have the most clarity and vision for the future. Shannon Hoverson, she's got the Solomon CEO journal, and she's got the pen. This is kind of a funny story if you didn't go through it. So 28 people like it, blah, blah, blah. Her best friend from childhood says, wish I was there with you. I look at this picture, and what I see is my beautiful multi-thousand-dollar logo on my handcrafted leather journal from Maine, and I look and see this 10-cent piece of crap pen. And that's all I saw was this ugly pen. So I say to Shani, holy crap, honey bunny, we got to get you a much better pen than that. Go to Office Max now and purchase a pen at least $25 to $50. It will make your words more precious. Thanks and love. So Colin has a journal, blah, 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 loves the Solomon, blah, 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 blah. So all these people are talking about journaling. So I'm like, all right, let's do a sick training on how to use a journal to unlock your potential. This is this is an example of prolific, is you have an idea and you're able to take action on it. Because you got time freedom, because you're so dang efficient, you can have creative control over your life and do things that you like. So, but here's what's funny. Shani, so this is just a few hours after that post. Here's Shani. She got her new pen. Mark Hoverson is hot. Thank you for my new pen. So it's like one of those fill-upable things, and now she's taking notes. And Isaac is actually listening to this right now. Hey, Isaac. I love you too, son. But anyway, this is just kind of funny that that's how the whole thing went down. So it's fun when everybody's learning together, when your families are learning together, and the whole deal, and just crazy. Lisa Grossman's amazing. She said this is awesome too. The amazing Lisa Grossman. If you don't know her, connect with her. She's just so cool. $1 million earner in MLM, super behind the scenes smart person. She says, Mark, I'm going to Israel. What do you want? My reply, dirt. So here we are a month later. She sends me, this is to certify the enclosed soil came from the Garden of Gethsemane. And I thought that was so cool. But part of the journaling thing is, in Solomon, it talks about the lazy man. It's unfitting for a lazy man to receive honor. It's just not fitting. It's not proper. It's not right. So I flipped that verse, and in my journal, this was way back in the day, and in the theater of my mind, I said, well, okay, so I'm not going to be a lazy man. I'm going to be a diligent man, and I'm going to receive a bunch of honor. I'm going to have things sent to me in the mail. I'm going to have people sending me gifts. Honor in the Bible a lot of times is equated to money. I'm going to have a lot of money being sent to me. I'm going to have electronic income 24 hours a day. Money's going to be depositing into my bank account. I started seeing all these things, that honor was going to be just crashing in like waves onto my life. And just looking at this, like right here, having, some Holy Land sent to me as a gift from a person that I didn't ever know existed in Texas, who's now a great friend of mine. It's like your dreams really can come true, and when they do, they feel frickin' awesome. Wealthfast5000.com. Wealthfast5000.com. If say you guys keep buying, so I'm just gonna keep hanging around because there's just more and more people are buying. So I'm gonna hang out, and I'm not going away till. So this is what it's kind of looking like, gang. So until you guys just decide you're just gonna all buy, I'm just gonna hang around. So they're coming in almost every few minutes, so I appreciate it. All right, but that's not even what I wanted to show. Here's what I wanted to show. I wanted to show. Oh, this is my office where I'm working from right now. And you want to talk about crazy, in my journal, yet again, in my journal, and this is when I had this stupid store was called Computer Man, and it was a used computer store. And I had $250, and I went to Computer Man. It was in a strip mall, an old strip mall, and I had 250, and this guy's like, this is the best thing I can give you. It wouldn't even support video. It was so bad. This is this is about 6 years ago. But there I am with my journal. And again, the Proverbs say that a righteous man's house is filled with treasure. So I wrote down that I allow myself to create an office that has the very highest tech, most hip, modern furniture, plants, technology, chairs, everything. Just the best, right? So here's my office. I've got my Mac and my Kindle, and it's just remarkable to me. It's a really sweet office. I got a TV over here, I got a stone wall over here, and I got cool plants, and you got to have a lot of plants around you because it really does clean the air. And air is like, for your brain to function really, really well, you should have some plant life around you. It's just the natural state. So for me, I parallel a lot of what's happening back to the Garden of Eden. So you can see there is kind of a gardening kind of motif. I believe that's an environment where we are thriving in our image of God. And so literally I seek to create an environment like the Garden of Eden in my office. And it's kind of where I'm at. It's a little weird, but it seems to be working, my friends. But the funny thing was, I had this vision for this great office and all this great technology long before I had any right or reason to believe it was possible. And it was possible. And the $1 million day is what drove so much of this. And so I'm pleading with you. I'm not pleading with you, but you deserve to get on the Be Prolific. Your family deserves it. You're going to be blown away. I'm going to give you enough guidance to not make it such a creative burden for you to figure out how to do this thing. But again, this isn't even why I want to show you a quote about being prolific, where the whole idea for this Be Prolific came up. And here's maybe think of you. I don't know where it was. Gosh, we had fun. We had so much fun hanging out. These guys hijacked my phone. I love these guys with all my heart. Brett and Adam and Eric hijacked my phone and took a picture. Like I'd post that. Anyway. Oh, the golfing was fun. All right. No, I got to show you guys this because it's worth it. This bar was so cool, by the way. It's called the Library. And this is the panoramic. So fun. All right, now I do have something valuable to say. Wealthfast5000.com. If you haven't got it yet, I'm going to close on this next quote if I can ever find it. It's almost here. Is there a way to search Facebook? I don't even know. Dang it. Okay, Biz Friends, soft spot. I'm almost there, I swear. Couple insights. Sell yourself on the idea you sell. No, that's not it. Okay, you guys are awesome. Oh, here it is. Boom, I found it. 53 likes on this page. Let me read this to you because the only reason we're here right now is because I felt a little inspired to write this down on Facebook a while ago. So I say, Biz Friends, I had a couple insights while running in the mountains outside Phoenix today. And I really believe that ideas show up when your mind is in a certain state of exercise in particular. So I'm running and the mountains are out there and it's winter, January, and I'm just having so much fun with it. There are a bunch of us who go from unproductive to productive. I talked about this, which means we actually start doing the stuff we know we should be doing. Just that simple transition will usually lead a home biz entrepreneur to 5 to 10K per month zone and lots of enjoyment and lifestyle design. So this is just kind of how it is. But so many people seem to get stuck there. So here's the trick. The next transition is going from being productive to becoming prolific. When you are prolific, you are in creation mode almost all the time because you're working in your genius. Without the guilt of the undone constantly weighing us down, we open up mental energy and a blue ocean of opportunity emerges. In this rare state, ideas begin to avalanche upon you, and your productivity is able to shoulder them with ease. Once we graduate to prolific, we actually give our creativity a chance to be born. And once you unleash your God-given creativity, you become a force surprising even to yourself. This is how you go from 6 figures to 7 and then leap to 8. It's quicker. It can happen quicker than you think. And people seem to enjoy that. And that's how Become Prolific was born. And the journal thing was born from my wife. But you see what I'm saying? I'm operating on ideation, and it's really fun to get into this space. You guys can totally do it too. Fred was being funny as long as you don't mean prolific in the biblical sense. Prolific usually means, in the old King James, prolific meant large endowed. So you must become largely endowed. Fred, that was really funny, by the way. Anyway, wealthfast5000.com. Be there. You got the bonus videos. You guys keep buying again. you're just, I'm still here. But Wealth Fast 5,000, you go, it'll show up just like this, $37, and then once you get in, you'll be sent an email that will have 13 super productivity secrets, the executive communication, which if you have a business of any size that's like involves communication with more than one person, I would say even one person, um, this is it. Executive command. I mean, that's what you got to learn. You got to learn to be the commander in chief of your life. Time freedom flow chart. This is what makes my life really awesome. So awesome. In fact, here's how awesome it was. My buddy Aaron Fortner, he earns like 85,000 a month in Visalis or so, something like that. He he calls me last night at like 9:30. He's like my flight got delayed and I'm gonna have the night in Phoenix. Let's go play. So we go play and we have a very good time. And I sleep in till 11 this morning because it just doesn't matter because I have time freedom. And I knew I was going to do this, and I knew I typed my email the night before, and I know how the time freedom game works, and you deserve to know what I know if you're going to be in this industry. Wealthfast5000.com. Watch this training. It's really, really powerful. And then how to love living dogs instead of deadlines. This is more of a spiritual training, but it's very practical, and it actually focuses in on the understanding how to make money right now, because right now cash flow money is some of the best. So Wealth Fast 5,000. Oh, we just fell below 100 people. But I got to hear from, okay, I'm lowering all the hands. Raise your hand if you want to share why you know what? No. Raise your hand if you will help me be an ambassador for probably, there's probably 20 people on here still. We've got 100 people on the line. There's probably 20 on here right now that really want to do this and they just haven't bought. So if you will help me persuade them by sharing why you joined and encourage those 20 people to not walk away from this thing, that would be awesome. So raise your hand if you want to share why you bought and it as a maybe an encouragement for others to purchase who are right on the edge. Raise your hand and I will unmute you. Don't blink it, just raise it and keep it raised because we've got some blinking going on. All right, Mike Dudley, my man. Mike, are you out there?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you going?
I've never been better. How you doing?
Man, I'm exceptionally well today. Thank you so much for putting this on for us all and hanging out to have a bit of a chat. It's awesome.
Hey, where are you from, Mike?
I'm from Australia, mate. I'm down near Byron Bay, the Gold Coast.
Yeah. I can feel it.
Sunny out right now.
I've been to Bondi Beach. Is it Bondi Beach? And then I've been up to Cairns.
Bondi Beach down in Sydney in the eastern suburbs.
I've been to Sydney and then Cairns or Cairns or whatever. Fitzroy Island. I've been up to Fitzroy Island, which was super amazing.
Yeah, man.
So it's a
spot, hey?
I love Australia. Oh, you sent me a friend request. Well, let's do this still. Boom. I might be out of space, but I just confirmed you. Anyway, so Mike, what's shaking? What was the big takeaway from tonight for you? What was the greatest thing you took away?
Okay, cool. So I've had a pretty epic day actually today, starting off by doing some journaling, funnily enough, on the beach. I had to race home to jump on Layla's training where we hung out and did a little bit of that video marketing.
Right.
And then I was chatting away and I actually came a little bit later, Mark, onto the webinar.
Okay.
I guess I didn't get a direct invite, but I sort of noticed something through Layla's communications on Facebook.
Man, Layla,
and
Layla's
on the back end.
I gotta really spoil Layla next time I see her because she was responsible for, it sounds like, a handful of people. So you go on that and it was amazing. Okay, now catch us up from there.
For sure. And so anyway, so I know that Layla obviously jumped out a little bit earlier.
Right.
Like I said, I missed the first 45 minutes, so my apologies.
No worries.
But I do know that journaling is effective in terms of getting your ideas out of your head and onto the paper.
Nice.
To then reread it, revise it, and really get to see the big picture.
Nice.
So it's a super, super powerful thing to do.
Beautiful.
What I'm really excited about is basically being in one of your programs where it's going to be really, really short time framed.
Yeah.
And super productive. I mean, the whole $1 Million Day concept. I mean, if there's anyone out there that doesn't think that's a freaking awesome idea, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know?
They're thinking $2 million. That's what they're thinking.
and
Yeah.
and I'm just excited to do that. I know Layla's doing it, Tracy's going to do it, and a bunch of others, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot going on, Mark,
Yeah.
and I'm just really excited about being more productive.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is all the
see
more
whatever
it
kind of
see,
stuff.
and that's why I think this offer is unique because it's not like here's another thing to start implementing. It's like here's how to SEO your website and people are, oh my gosh, I got so much going on, I can't do that. This is like let's eat up and get everything done in your life. Like let's get more done. You know what I mean? So it's not this isn't adding things to do for people. This is getting things done in a very measured, deliberate way. And people, I mean, the people are, it's going to be amazing. You know, I'm going to set it up in a really amazing way. And people are going to accomplish so much. I'm just I'm excited to share it. So, Mike, have you seen any of these trainings like the Living Dogs or the Time Freedom Flowchart or Executive Communication or any of these?
You know what I haven't, Mark?
That is going to be now that is more of like something to do and watch, but the executive communication thing is super key. The productivity, these are pretty short. They're all like 30 minutes to an hour each. This one especially with the time freedom, you sound like an Aussie. You sound like a guy who is into the lifestyle, like freedom of, time freedom kind of thing. So
Yeah.
definitely look into this thing. And then tell us one other thing. Like, okay, so there's probably 20 people. Well, actually, more are buying now, but there's a handful of people that are looking at this. They want to do it. They're not doing it. What would you encourage? You know, that what should they think about? Why should they buy it if they want to buy it? Like, if you don't want to buy it, I mean, don't buy it. But there's people that want to buy it that haven't yet bought it. What would you encourage them if you can help me sell this? Just that last little
Mark,
bit.
I would say that one mind is strong and powerful, and especially when you intertwine, words from the Lord,
Right.
But I think when you come together with the masterminds and you really apply yourself in a short space in time, I think amazing things can happen. And
Right.
test it, try it out. I mean, it's $37. Try it out,
Right.
and you might just really transform your life like every single day. Maybe you go from working 5 days a week to working 1 day a week
Yeah.
because you just smash it out in 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
that,
you can teach others in your team to do the same thing. Like,
I love it.
pass it on.
Wealthfast5000.com. Check it out. Mike, you're awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate, I appreciate you coming out, and I like your accent. And what's your big goal for the year? Tell us. Share with us. Give us some energy. What's your
Awesome.
goal for the year?
Well, my goal is to help 1,000 people get started in terms of pursuing their own passion.
Yep.
And I know that's an exponential effect through leveraging, businesses that have leverage.
Right.
Like you were saying before, getting 100 people to do 1 hour, 1,000 people to do 1 hour's worth of work. I mean, if people just grasp that concept
Yeah.
And run with it in whatever is that they're passionate about, whatever the business is, I don't care. I mean, my passion is health and wellness, and the online marketing arena is like super exciting. It's evolving. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I just like watching people transform in their thinking. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to share the health and wellness story amid the world,
I like it.
and help people explore their passion and rekindle what they have inside of them to give.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're here. You know what I mean? We're not here to take. We're here to provide.
Yeah. Well, we're in deep now, Mike, and everybody who's here is, they're with us in heart, I think, at this point. So I'm going to go a little dorky and deep on everybody right now, but talking about aligning with your passions and your hobbies and stuff. What success has done for me, what it's happened to me is I've come to a place, and it was in the last probably 4 or 5 months where, Jonathan Budd and I were talking, and we were just going back and talking about values and purpose and things. And at the end of the day, it was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do, period. Almost every moment, I want to be with people I want to be with. I want to be doing things I want to be. I want to be where I want to be. I want literally like a conscious feeling of love every minute that I'm alive. I'm done. Like I'm over BS. I'm just over it. I'm done with it. And to really believe that that's even possible, well, I'll tell you, everybody, it is possible to almost live moment by moment in choice, in power, in passion, and truly in love with the situation, in love with your friends. I mean, I miss a friend, I fly him up. You know what I mean? I'm like, get here. I don't care. What are you going to miss? Especially with the young guys that don't have money. I'll say, what do you got to miss work? What do you make that day? $100. I'll give you $100. I don't even care. Just you're coming. Like so. You can you can create such a cool reality, Mike. And I feel like you get that, and you want to be a messenger of that message that people can make money on their passions, and it's a good thing, freaking great thing, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, that's yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And for anyone out there that's listening, that's still there, just like look into yourself. Like, think of the thing that you would love to do with money and time are not an issue for you right now. What would that be? And use that, because that's a really good indicator to pursue that in life, whatever it is. Hopefully, it's for the betterment of others.
Exactly.
But that's where it's going to provide. Like, the only way which you actually make money is providing value and service for others. So success, as Earl Nightingale says, shares it's for a worthwhile cause. For something worthwhile, and making a decision to move in that direction is, it's what life's all about.
I love it.
Explore your passion.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Mike, thank you so much. And you know what? We did get a little trickle of buyers since we've been talking here. So, in fact, yeah. And here's a little lesson, everybody. Mike, thanks so much. I'm going to mute you up, bro. You should connect with Jonathan Otto. He's in Australia. He does some of my videos. Did you see the video once you registered? No, you came in late, so you didn't see it. But um, there's a
I'll check it
really
out.
there's a really cool Jonathan Otto. He's worth connecting with. He's down in Australia. This is him right here, Otto. He's in Sydney, but super cool guy, godly guy, amazing. It's like very philanthropic and entrepreneurial. And anyway, Australia is a big place, but check him out. All right.
I'm from Sydney originally, my friend. So that's all good. That's we'll have something in common to chat about.
Exactly. Tell him I sent him your way. He's worth knowing for sure. All right.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Mark.
Thanks, Mike. All right, everybody. I'm having a grand old time here, and I'm just I do want to share a story that it's an important story, and it's a philosophy of selling that I'm going deep into, and you've paid with enough time to hear some of the dark magic of selling right now. There's three kinds of buyers. Okay, raise your hand if you're ready for like the Najitsu. If you're ready for like complete selling, marketing Najitsu and an understanding of humans, here it is. There are three types of buyers. There's quick buyer, there's details buyer, and then there's fear procrastinator buyer. Okay? Here's what's crazy. There were people when I said, okay, here's the link. They're like, absolutely, yep, I want in. They didn't need to know about the $1 million day thing or like what it's going to be. They didn't know anything about the bonus videos. I didn't even say there was bonus videos. It's like, we're doing this $1 million day thing and let's do it. And there was a nice rush of sales. Okay. And then there's the detail buyer. So I opened it up early and I didn't give a lot of details. Raise your hand if you guys noticed that. I just said, here's the thing, it's $37. I didn't even really explain it. I just said it's $37. So I'm going to go over this $1 million day concept, and we're going to game it and we're going to go for it. Okay. This is a certain kind of buyer. The very best marketers are quick buyers, just as a word of like warning. Okay. These people end up being the best kind of marketers. Kind of. Now the next wave, these people, once they saw, oh, the video training, oh, okay, the 13 productivities, okay, but there's that, and then there's the executive communication, and I taught some value out of that, and then they were like, oh man, these details, the $1 million day, is it a 30-day challenge? Is it a 90? No, it's gonna be about over a 12-day period with 3 million days that we attempt, and I'm going to guide you through the deal. Now, the detail buyer heard the details and went, ding, 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 I'm in. Raise your hand if you understand the detail buyer and how it's different from the quick buyer. Okay? Here's the problem. The problem, well, I'll tell you the next phase of buyer. So these people buy. And then there's the fear, kind of inspiration, kind of procrastinator. And these people pay taxes on the very last day that they can pay taxes. They show up probably a little bit late to dinner. They show up a little bit late to work. Every single thing they do, including buying products, is at the very, very end of something, the last moment possible. And this is okay. I've done this so many times, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how I have waited on launches. Like I remember one Brendan Bouchard launch. I waited till the last minute of the launch to buy it. And I was inspired by a bonus that showed up. Eben Pagan provided a bonus. It was $2,000 to do this stupid course. I never logged in to the course. I just wanted the bonus, which was a 14-minute phone call with Eben Pagan privately. He does about 50 million a year, 25 to 50 million a year in information online. 14 minutes, 2K. Never logged in. But it was a last minute kind of like an emotional buyer who, after they hear some testimonies, that they know that the social proof is there. So now they've got the quick buyers did their thing. The details are on the table. And now the element of social proof is kicking in. They're hearing the testimonies. And frankly, they needed to hear the inspiration of the testimony people. And they were the last wave. They're the last second wave. Now, here's what's crazy. These are pretty much broken down equal into 100% of the buyers, about 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 around. But I will tell you, on a webinar like this, almost all your profit, all your margin comes at the end. Almost all of it. And what most people do in a selling webinar is they train, and then at the very end, because they're nervous about selling, they're just like, oh yeah, there's this offer and you should buy it. It's great. Yeah, I'll take some question and answers. Okay. All right, everybody, have a great night. Now, I don't know if you've been conscious of how, raise your hand if you see how the three waves kind of are different. And you've got to know this. See, I'm fully aware in every way that there is a wave at the end that causes me the bulk of my money. So we started at 8, 7. So it was 7 to 8, and that was pure content. And this is mountain time. I am now, have I really been on this an hour and a half? Selling. So where most people give peer value, and then they go into peer pitch, and they quit the teaching. They just go into pitch. What I do is I continue to teach and I throw the pitch in between the teachings, but I am pitching. So what happened was I did 1 hour and then I've done an hour and a half of selling. This is where all the money gets collected, my friends. And this is where the most persuasion, you got to turn on your persuasion, you got to turn on your selling, you got to turn on your sharing. If you believe in the integrity of the offer, what should get the most attention? If you believe that, and which I do, I deeply believe that the prolific days, the $3 million days over a 12-day period, that you get to select whatever day you're going to be the bad, crazy animal and go after it. And then we're going to share the victories and the amazing breakthroughs of stuff that you've been wanting to do for months and you haven't done. It's going to it's just going to shock you what you can accomplish. So I believe that next step is so vital that I spend literally 150% of our more time on the selling than I do just on the sharing of the free content. Raise your hand if you understand, or if you kind of get what I'm doing there. Most people don't do that, and it's because they feel nervous about the money. If you're doing webinars, you have got to sell the absolute heart out, and what you're doing is ultimately sharing. and persuading. And one of the most powerful things you can do in a webinar is to bring out new buyers and have them share for you. I had an insight when I watched Home Shopping Network. These ladies were selling purses, and they unmuted some callers who were selling purses, and I was like, or who bought these purses, and I'm like, this is genius. These callers are selling the purses for these people and proving that people buy and use these purses. And I started implementing on my webinars, and every time I start bringing people out, the domino effect of their story pushing people over the edge did it. Like Hobbs, if you're still on here, I see you're still on here, your name's still on here. The fact that you bought it and you make all this money, that did it for somebody. The fact that Kathleen bought it and she's brand new and didn't know who I was, and that pushed somebody else over the edge in a way that I wasn't able to do it. So you're really leveraging the power of the network and the energy and stuff. All right, gang. You know what? We gotta be done. This is getting ridiculous. All right, my last call on it is again, the big difference in this offer versus other things is if this was like a Facebook pay-per-click course, right? Facebook pay-per-click. And I'm like, you really got to buy this because you can get leads and this and that and the other thing. And by purchasing it, you would have to watch like 8 videos, and then you'd have to go to Facebook and do that and do this and do that. This would add to your life, right? It would add a to-do list. What this is with the $1 Million Days and the super productivity stuff and the prolific is we are going to put the laundry list of things and ideas that you have, and we're actually going to wipe them out. We're gonna achieve them. We're gonna do them. So this is about a crossing things off your list and opening up space to become prolific. This isn't about another thing to do or watch or be in. This is about maximum achievement in the minimum amount of time using this prolific strategy of the $1 Million Day. And it's super powerful. Wealthfast5000.com. That's all I know. I love you. You know, okay, last one. We have too many people on here for me to go away right now. I lowered all hands. If you want to share why you joined, and if you joined late, I really want to hear your story. Like what was it? You know, all of the 2 hours or whatever we've been on here. What was it at the end that had you say, yeah, you know what? Here's why I'm doing it. I'd love to just know from a curiosity standpoint, actually. Here we go. Priscilla, are you out there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Priscilla, thank you for your patronage and for hanging out tonight.
Great.
And welcome to Be Prolific. So tell me, what was the big takeaway for tonight for you, Priscilla?
The big takeaway for me was you talked about going through the list of ideas. I have so many ideas of things that I want to do and share. Right. I have videos that I want to do. Yeah. So I figured this will help me to just get it done, to really get it done.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I love it. And then for the main thing that you learned tonight, what would you say was the biggest thing you learned? Or you know what? What was the biggest thing you learned tonight, would you say?
Oh my goodness, the biggest thing that I learned, I have like 8 pages.
It sounded like you had some notes back there, rustling.
You know what? I really like talking about writing in the journal. I used to journal a lot, and I got away from it, and then now I'm like the lady who talked earlier. I have like 5 different journals with things in it. Yeah. And I want to just kind of pull everything together, get one journal, and just get organized again.
I like it. And I think what was cool was what Layla was sharing, that her journal is like part diary, part dream future, part to-do list, and it's just like everything's in there, and it's just like life.
Exactly.
It's awesome. Priscilla, Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for popping out. I'm going to rock this.
Thank you.
I'm going to wrap this webinar up, and I appreciate you sharing, and I'm excited to hear about the breakthroughs that you're going to have in our activity. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Priscilla. Peace.
Peace.
Bye. All right, everybody. Wealthfast5000.com. Dang it, you guys keep buying, and I know what this can mean for you. I do. I know what this can mean. But I got to be done. Wealthfast5000.com. All love, Thank you so much, and God bless you guys. Bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call